Fading out Christmas tunes now, everybody. Stop panicking. Stop panicking. That was dire, wasn't it?
They seemed very popular.
Yeah, it seems like lots of people are really enjoying those Christmas songs. They're getting into the Christmas spirit, wasn't it?
That's it. You know, we all muted big time.
Oh man! As soon as I put it on, I told Monkey, it's like I'm putting the Christmas tunes on, then I'm fucking muting it.
Yes, indeed.
You know, there are people who do enjoy it, and there's plenty of people who also don't. But you know, because it's nearly Christmas, we're just 7 days away from baby Jesus' birthday. That is the day we celebrate, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yes. It's not actually the day, but yeah.
Yeah. It's actually it's the day the
Solstice.
sun. Yes, that's it. That's right. And the
holiday.
The days start getting longer after Christmas. So we're out of the woods and heading towards summertime again, everybody. We're nearly there. So let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate that.
Nearly there.
Something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. So we should do that. We should do that whole intro thing for John. But John isn't here yet because he probably heard the Christmassy tunes and was like, I'm gone.
Bailed.
Yeah, so yes, everybody, and welcome to High and Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy'sGrowroom.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Bubble Hawk.
G'day, guys. Bubble Hawk here from the eastern side of the land of Oz, drop bear country, kangaroo territory.
Nice.
All that jazz.
And we also have TG from sunny Canada.
Not so sunny, man. It's pretty cold here in Treaty 6.
He's using his hand as a scarf today.
My beard's getting a bit longer. No, it's like minus 20 something. So
ooh. Damn, bro.
But I'm here, you know. I was down in the garden earlier, keep it warm. So.
You were outside?
Yeah.
Why, bro?
Well, because you know, that's where shit is. So
yeah, I suppose you gotta make that soil.
Yeah, not quite. That's pretty solid right now.
Canadians are tough, man. They can take it.
Yes, and we also have Monkey. What's up, Monkey?
Hey, how's it going, man? Monkey here in the Southeast US. Got a big announcement, man.
Are you doing that now?
Yeah, right now.
Okay.
See all these wonderful, beautiful Christmas avatars up here. We have a sale. These NFTs are on sale this week for $99.
Limited edition. That's right.
Yeah.
Limited edition. That's it. One of a kind. West Texas for $99. Hey.
$99 each. Nice.
That's right.
And, yeah, $99 and you get a pixel.
Yeah. We have this free prize, free prize. And if you buy one of the NFTs, we might Zoom with you. That's the best prize we have.
Mm-hmm. And we also have Marge, who has a very nice avatar today.
I do, and that avatar is brought to you by Filmy Bowls. So thank you for that. I thought I'd have to use this Christmassy thing because I was completely unprepared. So I really appreciate that. And I'm also, if you don't already know, the host of Bite Me, the show about edibles, everyone's favorite podcast about edibles, and possibly the only one, but whatever.
Try not to say edibles too much. You give flashbacks there to poor old Bubble Hawk.
Right.
Yes.
But man, flashbacks. It's still happening from last night.
You took more?
Yeah, I've had one every day this week.
He's building his tolerance.
Right.
For the big day.
What,
yeah,
so like the cannabis cup or something?
Yeah.
Just Christmas with his family.
I want to be able to have a whole one and not end up dribbling on myself on the couch. So.
Oh gosh. Sounds like a good time, eh?
Goals.
Yeah, so and thank you everybody out there in the chat for joining us as well. I hope you're all getting a little bit more festive season-y feeling. You know, not trying to be so Scroogey. I know the feeling. Yeah, you all know by now. Regular listeners of the show knows. I am not a great fan of this festive season, but still, we have to try. We have to try and be merry and Christmassy. You know what I'm saying? So, Merry Christmas, everybody, and thank you to everybody who's listened to the show for the whole year or joined us throughout the year as well. It's been a massive pleasure making the show and putting shows together every week for you guys. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and join us and all that shit. But hope you enjoy the show. We're going to talk. What we're talking about today, we're going to go into the grow guides and talk about the good etiquette you should be having when you go and visit family over Christmas, so you don't piss anybody off with the whole cannabis thing. You know what I'm saying? Because some people don't like it for some reason. Usually that's their problem. But if you're going to go visit them at their house, then you have to really be a little bit more courteous and then they might be more inclined to take a step into the into the world of cannabis. Be like, maybe I'll try it this year. Don't have to be so defensive. Like, that's right. Now eat your cannabis stuffing, motherfuckers. Yeah. So, and what else? We're going to cover the cannabis news, of course, as we do. And that's about it, really. Cannabis news and some grow guides. Going to be a little bit more laid back. Some Christmassy shit going on today. Yeah. So, anything else to add there, everybody? Well, what we all smoking on and shit.
Well, right now I've got LSD in the mighty.
Nice.
So,
I've just put the lemon tree in my mighty here. So, and it's very delicious, of course, as many of you may know. I do,
really,
I do love my lemon tree. But
Wow, I
we
didn't know
did have an email here that I want to read out to all of you guys as well, because we don't get emails like this often, and I'm sure lots of people enjoy the show, but it's real nice when we receive messages from people telling us how much they enjoy the show, and how much the show means to them. It helps us keep doing this thing that we do every week, because it takes a lot of work, and it is hard work to put it all together. So when people appreciate it, it just helps us fuel the tank and go a little bit further, you know what I mean? So just quickly read this out to you. This is from Arnie Scarpa, so a big shout out to Arnie out there. He says,
He said.
he said, just wanted to say, tomorrow, 19th, will be 1 year since planting my first seed. I made so many mistakes from bad advice. It was a stressful thing to do, as I was scared and didn't know what the fuck I was doing and feeling really anxious about it. I have smoked bud for 20 years and have always felt growing was beyond me through fear, stigma, and lack of knowledge. Then I found you guys in April and everything changed. Your podcast has opened up so much for me and given me the confidence to grow the plant I love and feel part of an amazing community. Also, to be able to educate others and shout the word cannabis with confidence. You guys have helped me through one of the toughest years where I nearly lost my family and all the dreams I had worked for. When I was real low, an episode of High and Homegrown would level me and inspire me to buy more seeds and build another grow room. I now have 3 hidden around the farm here in the west of Wales and jars of the famous lemon tree. All thanks to you. So again, I thank you guys and the community that have given me so much. So thank you, Arnie. That's fucking real sweet, man.
Yeah, that's a really nice email to get.
I woke up this morning and got that email. I was like, that's a nice fucking email to wake up to. So thanks, bro.
It's a great email, but when's Barney's?
Yeah,
When is Barney going to cut you in on some of that profit there for that lemon tree?
Yeah.
I keep wanting to know.
I've been speaking to them. Speaking to them. We should be getting something up and running very soon.
Can we have the strain renamed to Mackey's lemon tree, please?
Ooh, I
Right.
wonder if they do that. I'm sure we don't.
try.
They can't sell that many. I'm sure it's not worth that.
Yeah, you'll find out it's their top seller now.
Oof.
I don't know.
That's Can't keep it in stock.
This lemon
Right.
tree is so good, though. It's so good. Just,
Well, I started some lemon skunk today, so we'll see.
Whoa,
Nice.
Yeah.
here we are. Lemon skunk.
hmm I'm excited. I just literally 3 or 4 months ago. So, I literally planted the seed today. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it always seems so long when you put it in, but it all happens so quick. So
Yeah, it's
Won't-
true.
won't be long. I want to see photos though. I want to see how that one grows out.
Yeah, get some
No,
pics
it's
of
just a
over on
micro.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little micro, but
Still, micro's
if
good.
it turns out nice, she may end up outdoors too. We'll have to see.
Right, so a quick shout out to everybody out there in chat who's joined us so far as well. We have Dave Leal, Dio, Filmy Bowls, Shonuff, Gellert, Mix Jim Fails, South Silly, Sparky, Phil Bushman, Savons, Twisted, Backblast, Spencer Hagerman, Gaia, UK Ziff, 420, 420 Trees, Dougaloo, Rusty Nail, Brian Post. I'm sure there's others. Leo Styles has joined us. What's up, Leo? Good to see you. Sand Groper. There's March in chat. John Finnegan has joined us just in time for me to start up the Christmas tunes again just for you, John. I'm not really going to do that. That was dire. Stonewolf is here as well. What's up? Freach has arrived. Arnie has just arrived as well. I just read out your email to everybody there, Arnie. Thank you for the lovely email, bro. But yes, I think we are all good and ready to do some cannabis news and events, right? We all prepared,
Why not?
ready to go, feeling Christmassy.
Are we?
Yeah, let's just say yes. This is how
Yes.
this is the most Christmassy I feel. So, but I'm sure I feel more Christmassy when it comes to Christmas Day. It's just after 6 weeks of Christmas, I'm a little bit sick of it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure many of you guys out there feel the same way. This shit legitimately does start in like October time for many of us.
Mhm.
God damn, yeah.
So is Boxing Day like your favorite day of the year?
But I don't know. It's sometime in January when all the Christmassy stuff's gone.
Oh, when it's all packed away,
Yeah,
you
and
can't
it's
see any
like,
more of it. That's
finally, if you
Uh-huh.
mention Christmas now, you're a fucking nutcase. So yes, there you go. So I'm sick of it. In June, says Gingerbread Boy. What's up, Gingerbread Boy? Didn't shout you out as well. Just a quick shout out to you. Anybody else before we move on? There's Mick S who's joined us as well. What's up, Mick? Anybody else? You should all be rolling your joints, building your bowls, eating your 100 milligram edibles if you chew bubble hock. And probably
More.
only you.
Yes.
They're
Let me have
tasty.
a-
I can't help it.
We just had AKA Bogtech arrive as well. What's up, bro? So yes, are we ready to go on? Let's go do this cannabis news and events. Let's do it. Are we all ready?
We're ready.
I'm gonna press the button. Let's do it. Yes, everybody, and welcome to this week's cannabis news and events, where we're going to cover some news stories that we've heard around the world over the last week. Of course, there's many things to cover. Is there anybody who wants to jump in and go first? Anybody? Do we have to delegate?
No, I can jump in. It's easy enough. I mean,
But
mine's
actually,
kind
yeah,
of
let's do yours. Yours is an interesting one, Monkey.
Yeah, it kind of throws a little bit out there. This comes from the Smithsonian Magazine. It's for pain relief. Cannabis may be no better than a placebo. So you see that going like, okay, what are we dealing with here? Is this more propaganda to say we don't need this stuff or something like that? But the article it goes different directions. So cannabis has been used around the world to reduce pain. In some US states, patients can use medical cannabis to treat conditions such as multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, and depression. But new analysis suggests that cannabis pain relieving effects may stem from at least partially from the belief that it will work. Well, I think that's right there. That's obvious with just about any medicine in the world, wouldn't you say? If you don't believe it's going to work, I don't care if it's the best medicine in the world, it usually doesn't work.
Yeah,
So, right.
placebo effect is powerful, man.
Yeah, very much so. So in a study published in the American Journal of Medical, AMA, the Journal of American Medical Association, researchers analyzed the results of 30 double-blind placebo-controlled trials testing both synthetic and natural cannabinoids, and the trials included about 1,459 participants in the ages of 33 to 62. And we're dealing with neuropathic pain, multiple sclerosis, and other pains.
What's neuropathic pain?
I think you're talking basically looking at something sort of I don't know exactly.
Headaches?
I'm kind of thinking sciatica.
Yeah, neuropathic pain from memory is that it's to do with the
some kind of a damage in the nervous system.
Yeah, the way that it transfers from your brain to wherever the pain centers are.
Yeah,
or wherever it is to your brain, whatever.
It can be all kind of
Death
different
of
things.
nerves. There you go.
There you go. All right. So we knew somebody in the chat would know exactly what that
Somebody
is.
always knows in the chat. Thank you, chat, for being there for us.
That's why they have it, you know. But participants, this LSD stuff is really got me going, man. Participants, there it is again. Participants receiving the cannabis placebo tended to report a significant reduction in pain despite not having used the medicine. The researchers revealed the fact that regardless of whether the patient used an active treatment or the placebo, they reported similar levels of pain relief.
Goddamn, Monkey, you are mash up today, bro.
Man, you know, my head is spinning. I took this one big bag before we went on the air, and I'm going like, God, I remember why this stuff is so heavy on me, man. It's mashed up. The response is strongest in the most neurological and psychological conditions. Placebo effects appear to have little impact on the outcome of clinical trials to treat cancer, viruses, or bacterial infections, she told the publication. Other conditions with high placebo responses in clinical trials include depression, IBS, epilepsy, hypertension, and asthma. Not everyone responds equally. Now we know this with cannabis. We know that everybody's endocannabinoid system is completely different, and everyone's medicine is going to have to be slightly tailored to their own system. So finding this study definitely didn't surprise me. But now I'm kind of wondering though, when I read the study there, if you told somebody that you were giving them cannabis and they have never in their life had cannabis before, and they've been told that this cannabis is going to make you feel better, they wouldn't really know what to look for. So I could actually see, I mean, you could tell them you're giving them morphine and they wouldn't know the difference. But I remember distinctly, it's been a couple of years back, we were visiting some friends in New Orleans, and we were down in the French Quarter, and they have a pedal vehicle that goes down Bourbon Street of all places, and it says cannabis candy on it. And all the candy is named after different strains. You've got Jack Herrera, you got Granddaddy Purple, and all it is, I mean, and we actually went up to the guy and asked him, he said, is this legal? He said, sure it is. There's nothing in it. It's just candy named for cannabis. But people eat the stuff and they think that they're getting stoned. They walk down the street thinking they're high as a kite.
Time's
because they've
moving
never-
really slowly.
Exactly. But this makes total sense to me when I read this article, because yeah, if you tell people they're going to be high, and if they really don't even know what that's going to happen to them, they start imagining things. Come on. That's how imaginations work with nightmares and everything else. You're using your brain to convince you something's going on. So the study is completely normal, but at the same time, because I use cannabis to treat sciatica, arthritic pain, other things such as this, I know personally that for me, it does work, because when I don't use it, if after a few days, I definitely start feeling the pain coming back. So,
Placebo.
and I think
Purely placebo.
purely placebo. I don't know now,
No.
because I'm very, very honest with my doctors here, and I tell them what cannabis types I'm using, how much I'm using when I go see them. And when the doctors check me and do things and they ask you, okay, what are you taking? I said, nothing by mouth, but I use cannabis and this is how I'm using it, whether it's topical, whether it's vapor, whether it's edibles, just basically tell them. And every time when I leave that doctor's office, they look me square in the eyes and dead serious and said, I don't know what you're doing, but just keep doing it. So right then and there, it tells me that the doctor doesn't know what's happening here, but he's telling me that it works. Okay. So even if it is placebo effect, is that a bad thing? Is my question.
Of course not. Definitely not, man.
Because basically I'm off the pharmaceuticals. I'm treating myself with medicine that's basically harmless. I can't overdose on it. It's not going to kill me. So what's the big deal? But I think that the article basically said the same basic thing. Medicine is different for everybody. And if cannabis works for you to alleviate your pain, whether it's a placebo effect or a real effect, and if it's not harming you in any way, what's the problem? So when I saw that as the punchline, going like, well, that's kind of, totally opposite of what I thought the article was going to tell me. They're basically saying this is a medicine that won't harm you. And if it helps you, why not?
Yeah.
That's why
I
it
like
should be,
that
man.
one.
Yeah, it's like, if it's working, then fucking take it, man.
That's it, and like we've said it many, many times before. If this is a medicine that when you take it, it makes you feel good instead of having to suffer through all these bad, negative side effects, that's so much the better,
That's what I was just thinking, because so many of the drugs that you take from the doctor have all kinds of side effects that we will willingly tolerate to get the results that we want. So why not try something like cannabis that's so incredibly safe?
I mean, taking these pills will make your kidney fail. So here's some
Right.
dialysis to treat that.
Right.
It almost seems like, yeah, the doctors, I know when I first started medicating myself with cannabis for pain, my doctors were a little bit concerned because I stopped taking their medicine. I wasn't asking for prescriptions anymore. And it's like, yeah, but I see it as a business decision for them. No, if I'm not taking medicine from them, I don't have to go back and see them every so many weeks to get another prescription.
Right.
So is that one reason that some of these doctors maybe are not as on board with cannabis?
That probably is one. Yeah.
But the whole dosage thing is a difficult one for them, and it's that they can't track how much exactly somebody's getting, so they can't understand how it's working. You know what I mean? If it was in concentrate form where everybody's just getting oils and they can say, like Bubble Hawk's edibles, for example. This
I knew we were going there. I thought
Yeah.
it was going to be dabs or something like that. But yeah, either way, Bubble Hawk would be a good example.
There you
all of
go,
it. Just
Bubble
give
Huck.
me
You're a
all
good
of it.
example, bro.
His dreams are coming
Yeah.
true.
I
It must
know.
be
I've been-
Christmas.
I've been told for many years that I was a bad example. To be told I'm a good example, it's a different feeling, isn't it?
You know, you can always be a good example of what not to be, right? That's how I roll. That's my idea. That's how I like to roll. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
I
look,
guess-
to be honest, I'd rather get, have an after effect of being high than my liver failing.
You know what I'm
just-
saying, mate?
I mean, that's just me
exactly.
personally, but
Yeah.
Each to their own, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Some people don't
If you
mind a
want-
little bit of organ failure now and again. You know,
Yeah.
put your hair on your chest, bro.
People are lonely this time of year,
Savage.
Well, if the side effect of my pain medicine is that it makes me happy and want to be around other people, that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
It definitely makes more people, well, people more tolerable, I do say. The higher you are, the happier you are to be around with people.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
you said,
bottom-
man, even if it's fucking placebo, it works. It's working for people. So get it out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the bottom line on this one. Just remember it. If something helps you relieve your pain and doesn't cause you significant harm, no harm in using it. There you go.
Especially when it tastes good as well. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. When grown properly and it tastes nice and puts a smile on your face, all those good things.
Yes. So interesting story. It was definitely piqued my interest when we were talking about the placebo effect there, because we all know how powerful the placebo effect can be. It's just interesting to see try and say about cannabis doesn't work in its placebo effect. So the article definitely turned around towards the end, didn't they?
Well, I can tell you right now that this LSD is not having a placebo effect right now on me. It's got my head spinning pretty good. Yeah.
Sweet. So what we saying next, Bubble Hockey? You want to do yours next, mate? You got some good news coming out from the land of Oz, right?
Yeah, I can do mine. So last week we covered the election in Victoria from, I think we got that one sent through by a listener actually from memory.
Yeah.
This one follows
The
on.
pathological sloth.
That's it.
Okay.
Right.
So this one follows on from that one. Essentially, they've gone through, they've counted everything, and it works out that 2 legalized cannabis MPs get elected in Victoria. So legalized cannabis Victoria has 2 MPs after it bagged a pair of upper house seats in the state elections. With the results now confirmed, Rachel Payne has been elected in Southeastern Metropolitan, along with David Etiquette in Western Metropolitan. The party narrowly missed out on a 3rd seat, with Andrew Dowling just coming up short in Western Victoria. So the result means that LCV will form part of a progressive crossbench with Labor leader Daniel Andrews. Will have to negotiate to pass legalization or legislation contested by the Liberal and the National Coalition. So it means they can kind of hold him ransom. If he wants to get something passed, he'll have to do something for them, is what they're saying now. So 40-seat Legislative Council will be made up of 15 Labor MPs, 14 Liberals, 4 Greens, Payne and Etiquette from LCV, and single reps from the Democratic Labor Party, One Nation, Liberal Democrats, and the Animal Justice Party. Oh, and Shooters and Fishers and Farmers. So there you go. If the coalition opposes any government legislation, Labor will need to win the support of 6 crossbenchers to pass its program. Payne said changes to the state's drug driving laws are a priority, while Etiquette said the election of 2 legalized cannabis MPs was an indication that views on recreational legalization were changing. We're looking forward to working with the government on genuine reform and legalization of cannabis, he said. I think it's something to be worked through with the government in a logical and sensible way. The Greens, Liberal Democrats, and AJP have all voiced their support for legalization, while Liberal MP Bev MacArthur said she was always open to new ideas. However, in a blow for progressives, it's been confirmed that Reason Party leader Fiona Patten has lost her Northern Metropolitan seat to the socially conservative Democratic Labour Party's Adam Sumurek.
Completely like out the blue here. It's like I'm reading through this guide and I don't see the name David Etiquette anywhere, right? But there's a picture randomly here of a guy with David Etiquette underneath it, and it looks like some English teacher standing next to graffiti to make him look cool. Have you seen it? You see it?
Yeah.
So he's one of the other ones that won a seat.
Oh, cool. Okay, it didn't mention his name, did it? I don't know. I didn't. see
Yeah,
it.
up
My
top,
only last
second
name.
paragraph.
Oh, so right, nice. Thank you, Bubble Hawk. No,
Yeah.
no, it makes a little bit more sense. It's like, why is this random guy? Is it's fucking hardcore? Yeah, there he is. Look, there he is, everybody.
He
There
was
is.
cool and they had a good picture, so why not throw it in? Yeah,
You know what I mean? The stoners will like this. It has graffiti in it.
that's it.
Yeah.
So, but what it does mean though is that it's, we've now got 2 in WA, we've got 2 in Victoria. New South Wales is next, so we've got the next state election coming up here soon. So, the more this happens, the more we get it in, the more we get a voice, the sooner legalization should be able to happen. But
when you say you
again-
have 2 here and 2 there, what does that mean on like the grand scheme of things?
Okay, so the way that it works here is that whilst the national government can make laws and things like that, it's up to the states for certain things. So as far as drug laws, that's up to the state to deal with. So having 2 cannabis MPs in
Out of
Parliament
how many?
at a state level, what was it, 40 something?
All right, so it's just a small percentage.
15, 29, yeah, 40 seat legislative council. So whoever obviously has majority is the one that's going to get it through, but nobody can necessarily have majority at that point without using one from one of these smaller micro parties.
Okay.
But it means that, again, same thing, they can kind of hold them to ransom a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want to get a specific part of their legislation through, then they can kind of come along and go, yeah, I will, we'll support that, but you got to support us on this. And so just get some
Get it in
movement, but
fucking
also-
writing, man, because you can't trust these motherfuckers.
Well, that's it. They got to get it in writing.
You know, fucking like you hit this bong and I'll pass that bill for you. What do you say? Hit this bong on camera. So
That's the one,
and then
yeah,
I'll sign
really.
it for you. Nice. Yeah, but it seems like some good news coming out of Australia. Then you seem to be making some good headway recently, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all sort of that. I think when we spoke to Brian Walker, he was saying the same thing. It's that the edge of that tsunami. It's coming, but you can't stop it. It's just slowly making its way ashore. So we'll keep an eye on it and fingers crossed.
Yeah, man.
But I think if it's gonna happen, it'll have to be down to one of the bigger states to do it first. Once one of those bigger states does it, because they've done it in the ACT and it's fine. They've not really. I mean, it's not the best in the ACT as far as laws around it go, but it's something better than nothing.
Indeed. Yeah.
And I think the more that carries on down there, and they notice that there's no real issues, the more it'll sort of move into other states picking up and going, we can make money here. It's all in the money.
Oh yeah.
Australian politics is all about money.
No, all politics is all about money, mate. It's not just a thing that's isolated in Australia. Let me tell you, coming from the UK here, bro, we know.
Mate, the more dollary dues you can make, the better off you are
Mm-hmm.
in politics, unfortunately.
Crooked ass motherfucker. Allegedly, of course.
Yeah.
Allegedly crooked, huh?
Yeah, allegedly. That's all. We can't be sure, can we? Can't be sure. Fucking crooked ass motherfuckers. But anyway, TG, would you like to go next, bro? You're sitting there in the background all quiet and shit. And I know how you like to get extra higher and higher and higher as the show progresses.
Well, I mean, that's what we're here for, aren't we?
Indeed.
Yeah. I been smoking lots of hash while you guys been doing your shit. So. Got lots of hash to smoke, I can't,
What hash is it this week? What you got?
I'm on some Oregon Golden Goat, 93 or 90 to 70 micron. That range. Some bubble hash, and I have this British. It's called British Columbian pressed hash, but it smells like a pine tree mixed with menthol. It's beautiful stuff. Yeah, so that's what I've been enjoying. But I've also been enjoying this news story. Very enjoyable news story.
Nice segue.
Yep.
What wasn't forced at all. Oh, good.
Well, I could go on about hash, but that's different segment maybe sometime.
Yeah, man. We just
But
talk about hash. Yeah, but what's going on, man? Tell us what's happening
yeah,
in
so
Canada,
like
bro.
you guys have heard my I don't know what the right word is right now because I've been smoking too much hash, but I go off often about Delta 8 THC, right?
You're
Right.
not the only one, man. I hate the stuff too.
Yeah, and we've talked about it a few times for various reasons. And it's just, yeah. So the story out of Canada here, I've been kind of tooting this horn for a while, and I'm very glad to see that Ontario, BC pause listing any new Delta 8 THC products, await guidance from Health Canada.
No fucking way.
So
Wow.
the two biggest, well, maybe not the two biggest, but Ontario is the biggest market, and BC is a very, very large market, if not the second biggest. Quebec might be the second biggest, probably is, but BC is definitely up there. And so they're not going to be restocking any more products containing Delta 8 THC until further notice, basically. They're going to work through their old stock. And yeah, so I'll read the story and then we'll talk about why this is good and stuff and some maybe some misconceptions about why I hate it, because it's not, like I say, it's not the cannabinoid, it's what comes with it. So yeah, anyway, the Ontario Cannabis Store sent out a notice to licensed cannabis producers on December 15th to inform them that the provincial cannabis distributor and retail would no longer be listing Delta 8 THC products until it received guidance from Health Canada. And I did see the letter and I read it, and that's exactly what it says. Yeah. In their letter, the OCS says that they have been monitoring emerging concerns in the United States, where the Food and Drug Administration has issued public health warnings for unregulated products that contain the novel synthetic cannabinoid Delta 8 THC. As a result, an increasing number of US states have taken steps to regulate or ban products that contain this cannabinoid. So the OCS began carrying several products that contain novel cannabinoids, including Delta 8 products. These have been in the form of cannabis vapes, edibles, beverages, and topicals. The OCS will still continue to purchase and list dried cannabis products, including pre-rolls that contain low levels of naturally occurring Delta 8 THC.
That's a big difference. Naturally
That's
occurring. That's the
It's
important
very
thing.
important. Yeah, very important. While the provincial agency says it's not aware of any adverse reactions to these products in the legal cannabis market in Canada to date, products that contain Delta 8 THC fall outside the definition of THC under the Federal Cannabis Act. The OCS says it's contacted Health Canada asking for direction on the subject of Delta 8 products specifically. And until Health Canada provides this requested guidance to the industry, quote, out of an abundance of caution, end quote, the OCS will no longer accept any product that contains Delta 8 THC as part of the product call process, will not issue notices to purchase new products containing Delta 8 THC that have been previously submitted through the product call process, will not issue purchase orders for any products containing Delta 8 THC that have been issued but not fulfilled. So yeah, basically they're gonna cancel all their outstanding orders that they haven't received and not order anymore, is what that means. The OCS will still, yeah, they're still gonna sell through their existing inventory, but not buy anymore.
It's strange that it's like if they think that it's going to be dangerous for anybody, then you just got to stop it. Like, all right, sell what you've got left.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's pretty fucked, eh? But you know, I guess whatever. I guess they're gonna do that. So yeah. The rest of the article is just about, this is from StratCan, by the way. And they reached out to other provinces is basically how it goes. BC, the LDB there says they've become somewhat aware of some product containing Delta HC, and basically said the same thing Ontario did, and they're going to be putting a moratorium on that as well. In Quebec, they don't even purchase them in the first place, apparently, so that's not an issue there. In Nova Scotia, they don't carry Delta 8 products, nor does Newfoundland, according to the article here. They say they're going to assess the situation and come back. And I would assume all provinces will follow suit. That would be my guess. But yeah, it's good. It's good as fuck. Because like as I've touted before, it's not the Delta 8 cannabinoid that's the issue. It's the cannabinoid itself is fine. I do think it's probably safe for human consumption. It's not that much different than THC. It's what isn't cleaned out of the soup that
Mm-hmm.
these products are made from,
Yeah.
i.e. Delta 8 distillate, because Delta 8 distillate is created synthetically using CBD isolate and a bunch of chemicals, right? And so when they do this reaction, there's sometimes, a lot of the time, those chemicals can have reaction byproducts that are still contained within the distillate, right? Because you're putting in like a 99% CBD isolate and mixing it with a bunch of shit. It's proprietary, but you can go on like a forum like Future 4200 and just Google CBD to Delta 8, and there'll be a fuckload of like, that's where the tech comes from, to be honest, the black market, right? And it's just been adopted because in Canada, the market is so fucky that, you know, any company that can gain any sort of foothold with like the new shit or be the first mover of something, you know, it's beneficial to their financial situation because it's so hard to make a profit. So Delta 8 is a very huge seller because it's hyped, right? It's for various reasons, you know, in the States, it's because of prohibition. It exists and the oversupply of CBD isolate that they didn't know what to do with. So they had to figure out how to deal with it. And because Delta 8 is not scheduled in the States, they can sell it in wherever.
Yeah.
And there's no regulatory body.
That's it. Like I said, all about prohibition, man. If prohibition wasn't a thing, then Delta 8, the synthetic version of Delta 8 THC wouldn't be around either, you know?
That's completely, you would think, but look at Canada. We have it everywhere here. We got Delta 9 out the ass. We threw away, how much was it? 80% of the fucking shit we grew since 2018 of Delta 9. And yet they're like, no, give us some Delta 8. You know, it's not the people. It's just, it's because I said like the market is so janky that like there's such weird metrics that you have to like fucking follow. And because this one is like, it's, you know, fuck, I saw an ad that Burner had some like, he's selling this shit down in wherever, California and stuff, you know, guys like him, people look up to Burner, people think he's popular as fuck, and he is popular as fuck, you know. But he's like, if he's selling it, it must be okay, right? But that kind of shit, so like
that is a good point though. Like, who's actually looking for this stuff?
Well, I mean, down here in Prohibition land is where it's very popular.
Right.
And the thing
that
about
makes
it
sense.
is, well, the thing is down here, you can buy the stuff in most vape shops and stuff. And because of the farm bill and the legality of it, it's borderline legal to sell to minors. You know, it's right in that gray area. I mean, it shouldn't be sold to minors, but it's basically hemp. It's classified as hemp.
Yeah, it's hemp derived, you know, and
it's considered to be, it's like selling CBD to a minor.
Yeah. I just don't understand why in a place like Canada, where, like you said, TG, we're awash in weed, who's actually looking to buy a product, a Delta 8?
I don't know. And it's like, well, I don't want to get as high because, you know, this Delta 8 is supposedly 30% as potent as THC Delta 9 THC. And it's like, why? Like, buy some CBD weed, blend it. Don't smoke the whole joint. You know, you don't have to drink.
There's so many other options. Yeah.
There are really.
Yeah.
I mean, we've tried some of these hemp derived cannabinoid things like this. They've been given to us basically when a CBD shop opens up down here and we go in and talk and they give you free samples. What they call Delta 9 gummies, I swear they'll put you to sleep. It's so heavy, so overripe cannabinoids, a lot of CBG and stuff in it, heavy, sleepy gummies. So they're selling these things. They're calling some of the owners around here, at least, they're telling people that the Delta 8 is like sativa and the Delta 9 is like indica. I'm going like, this is ignorance. That's completely misinformation.
That's more. That's just almost malicious.
It is. I mean, it's irresponsible for sure.
Irresponsible is the word. Yeah, very irresponsible.
Once they walk into a real dispensary and think they're getting quote unquote sativa, and they get real sativa, it'll knock them on their butt.
Yeah,
but it is.
Yeah, I just you know, take it from me, guys. Like I work. You know where I work, right? Fucking
Canada.
I know. But I mean, I have very intimate experience with Delta 8. I'll say that much. And if you want to listen to anything I ever say, you know, I don't use it. I will never use it. So.
Well, I've seen articles recently. I've seen some really obscure articles recently about increasing the potency of your Delta 8 cannabis. how to grow cannabis, how to grow hemp for increasing your Delta 8 output. Is
You
this
know,
something, I'm curious whether this is something they're going to start breeding for now, high Delta 8
probably sure.
concentrations.
I've been told from a source that I trust very much that Delta 8 in certain cuts is like significant enough to do traditional extraction, because it's just a cannabinoid. It's soluble in ethanol or iso or whatever you want to use, just like Delta 9 is. You just got to find the right plants with a high enough percentage of it in it to make it worthwhile, and those really don't exist, probably because of prohibition pressures in breeding that have been oriented specifically toward high THC over the last 40 years.
Right.
But and we didn't even know about this really either until recently, I guess recently-ish. So yeah, if you can find me some biomass that's high in Delta 8, I'll gladly put it through the extraction and put it through distillation, and we'll make some beautiful distillate. But if you're going to react CBD isolate, which is 99%, think about it, 99% goes in, you get a distillate that's at best 90% that comes out. 10% is unaccounted for. You get a lab test back, it literally says Delta 8 is the only thing on there, because as it stands right now, and this is the other actually point that I really wanted to make that I'm glad I remembered, labs at this point in the game don't have the reference standards available to identify. They haven't even identified these other compounds that are in, because they do show up on the chromatogram on when you run it through an HPLC. The raw data.
So like you said, it would be like 90% CBD, and the whole 10% they don't tell you what it is.
Well, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes there's other minors, but generally, yeah, the conversion, you put in CBD isolate, which by definition is, let's just say it's 100% CBD. There's nothing else in that. You react it with some chemicals like p-tolusulfonic acid, heavy metal catalysts, and you react it with this shit in a really high temperature vacuum environment, and it turns into distillate. It dribbles out just like when I make distillate, it dribbles out into your product flask. But when you test that distillate, it's like 85 to 90%. So there's something else in there that makes up the other 10, but it doesn't register because they literally haven't identified these chemicals before.
Wow.
Right? That's the issue. And because we don't know what these are, we don't know if they're safe for humans to be eating, you know? So we know like take acid. How much acid do you need to get like seriously like fucking tripping? Like micrograms, right?
Micrograms, yeah.
It's so powerful. And like other things could be like that too. I don't know. We don't know. So I don't know. I'm scared about fucking chemistry, you know? It's serious shit, and this is serious chemistry. So I'm to bring it all back, I'm really glad that the OCS and everyone else has made this decision. And just until we know more, you know, like let's do some tests. Let's get some science shit involved.
And this is usually the way it goes with like all this new stuff. You know, when Spice came out, remember when Spice first came out, and what was it called?
K2,
Salvia, and all that kind of shit. When that first came out, but perfectly legal, you could go to one of the head shops and buy it, but it was dodgy shit. And then eventually they caught onto it and made it illegal. So now they're illegal substances. But there's always some new shit that pops up that's legal for a while because the authorities don't know what the fuck it is. And then when they discover it and see people are having problems, they put a ban on it. And I think that's what's happening here with the Delta 8 now.
Yeah.
It seems like commercialism has a lot to answer for too. Like people, you know, it's the new big thing, if you know what I mean. It's been pushed as the new big thing. And the more people, you know, they're not getting the whole story. They're just like, oh yeah, Delta 8, it's great. Get into it, you know. And so people go out and buy it, not knowing or not thinking, because you know, your average smoker, especially if you haven't been smoking for that long, you go, oh yeah, you're trying all these new things out, and you're kind of putting a bit of trust into some of these people to tell you that the right stuff, you know, and they're out there to sell shit. Let's be honest, you
100%
you know,
nailed it there. Yeah, there you go.
Well, you know, like you said, if you go into a store and you don't like, you're like, what's the difference? Whatever, who cares? And then you just buy it because you just don't know.
But it doesn't matter anyway, because it's all placebo effect, right?
Exactly. Really.
Yeah, it doesn't matter in the end.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, down here, it's you can buy Delta 8 in the mail. I get advertisements in email all the time from free Delta 8, this, that, and the other thing like that.
Wow.
And so how do you think underage kids are getting hold of this stuff? You don't even have to go in the store, and they don't have to see you. They just order it, and it comes to their house in the mail.
It's so sketch, man. Like,
it's very sketch, man. It's just not safe. I
Yeah.
still say it, legal recreational weed that you have to go in and show your ID is way safer than this mail stuff.
But God forbid you grow a plant in your backyard.
Yeah, because I want it to
Yeah.
be safe and chemical free and all that good stuff, right?
Like I
Yeah.
say, just but like grow a 2-to-1, THC CBD, get a little bit of CBD, buy some CBD and blend it 1-to-1 or something. There's ways,
Yeah.
like I said before
Oh,
too,
yeah.
don't smoke your whole joint.
Mhm.
Just like
Yeah, you don't have to go into a dispensary and ask for the highest THC
Delta
compound you have.
Yes, exactly.
You
I
can
mean,
say,
you know-
what's a nice mellow weed? And I bet you the bartender would let you know what the bud tender, excuse me. would
that's
let you know
actually
what it is.
that's a really good point. I never thought of that because the market here is as it is there is driven by THC. You can't buy anything that's
Mhm.
like under 20, but people want something that's like 30% as effective as this 20%. So why the fuck is Delta 8 even popular if you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's
They
weaker
People are
than the
strange,
thing that
man.
people
Okay,
want.
Yeah, it's
Right? They want it. The fuck? God damn people.
probably
Is
because
it
they
just-
doesn't have the same rules, so they're allowed to have flashy packagings and things like that.
Maybe that's
I
it.
don't know. It's whatever. I mean, just don't buy that.
Yeah, just don't buy that shit. Grow your
Yeah.
own, man. Stick to
Bravo.
the
Stick to the
Delta
real
9.
deal.
You know
One
what
of
I'm
the
saying?
best. I said this is the most exciting thing that's happened since Allard in 2017. Fuck legalization, but this is a good move.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, finally the OCS makes the right decision.
You've got a news article from sunny Canada as well, ain't you, Arch?
I
Sunny
do.
Canada.
Also not that sunny, but we'll leave that for now. This article is from the Montreal Gazette, so a province, one province over from me, but it's Hotel Intel. Travelers can wake and bake with high B&B's cannabis-friendly bookings. And I thought I'd just choose this one because it's kind of lighthearted. It's giving you a look at cannabis tourism, which they think is going to be growing quite a bit in the next little while. And I don't know
I do
about
it all
any
the
of you.
time. I love it. We
Yeah,
always
exactly.
we always do it. Cannabis tourism is part of my vacation planning.
Exactly. And as it should be for lots of people who are traveling. I don't know about all you guys, but I've used Airbnb quite a few times over the last however many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's getting like really expensive or something, or I don't know. I'm just not as impressed with the service as I used to be. I used to love it. And now it's just like every time you book something, there's like, here's a $200 cleaning fee and you still have to take out the garbage and like all that stuff. So this is kind of an interesting alternative. So if your idea of a good time is getting buzzed with a bong, there's a vacay for you. In the time since the territories in the time since territories including Canada have legalized marijuana, cannabis-friendly lodgings have bloomed faster than seedlings in a greenhouse grow up. I don't know who wrote this, but Rochelle, that was quite clever.
They was on that Delta 8, they were.
I
Yeah.
guess so. So this article is about High B&B, which if you want to look it up is highbnb.ca, and it's at the forefront of this new trend. The Toronto-based booking agent handles more than 300 cannabis-friendly vacation rentals in North America and beyond. And they also do a lot of ticketed events for festivals and workshops and all kinds of interesting things. It's similar to Airbnb in that the hosts of properties advertise on a platform and they welcome travelers to private accommodations of all sizes and styles, but they're all cannabis friendly. So that's the big difference. And some of them will give you sort of like the level of cannabis friendliness, like whether you can smoke indoors or outdoors, if they're going to provide smoking implements or not, that kind of thing. I actually did interview Elizabeth for my own podcast not that long ago. And
Podcast? You have a podcast, Marge?
I do. Bite Me the Show about edibles.
Oh,
Oh, very nice.
Yes, thank you.
you'll have to
thank
go check that out, everybody.
And Elizabeth, who is the founder of High B&B, came on and we were talking about just the logistics of starting a tourism business right at the outset of a pandemic, which, as you can imagine, created a few challenges. But it seems like every day they're adding new lodgings and new events to their website. And before you think it's just for those of us lucky enough to live in Canada where it's legal, or legal states in the US, she actually has listings all over the world now. And one of the ones that she was talking about, it talks about it in here because there's in Jamaica, they're doing a 5-day psychedelic retreat that you can sign up for, but that's actually run by, or Ed Rosenthal is involved
cool.
in that particular, in that particular retreat in Jamaica. So I thought that was kind of cool because they're really kind of branching out, and they have lodgings in like Puerto Rico, Portugal, Mexico, South Africa, Central and South America, and she's looking to expand beyond to like Germany and the Czech Republic, because there's two of the European places are looking to legalize in the very near future. So I just thought it was kind of interesting because this is sort of presenting a great alternative to those who may be getting a little tired of Airbnb, and it's what seems like excessive fees sometimes, and it welcomes cannabis users of all stripes. So no matter how you consume, there's something there for everyone. So if you're looking to book a trip, consider high B&B.
Yeah, that's something I'm definitely gonna have to look into.
Yeah, it's a fucking important factor, isn't it? If you
you use an Airbnb, every time you have to go to one listing, you have to contact the host and ask them if it's 420 friendly, and you got to go through all that whole thing with them.
Right. And this eliminates all that guesswork because you know they're 420 friendly at the outset. And then it's just a matter of, is there a designated smoking area or whatever the case might be. But they literally do not mind if you consume cannabis while you're using their facilities. And of course, if you're interested, you can always list your own property. I mean, I've done Airbnbs at my house before, did that for a while, several years ago. I used to be a super host, I'll have you all know, but
awesome. I'd be a bit dodgy, you know. I'd let him in and be like, rub some of this lotion on your skin.
Right. Lotions in the basket.
Just to freak them out, man. They'll be like, oh shit. What?
Yeah, I can only imagine the reviews that you'd get, but but yeah, I mean, if you have a space or you have a workshop, or because there's all kinds of interesting workshops and yoga classes. I've seen hash making workshops and other like things like that as well. So a lot of them are directly related to cannabis itself. But you know, if that's your thing and you're looking to, you know, I guess hire out a extra space in your room, or you have extra properties or whatever the case might be, it's something you can do to target cannabis users who are looking for places to stay, things to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you still Airbnb, and I suppose you're not, right?
No, my mother-in-law has the room.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Airbnb.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, we haven't done it actually before the pandemic. We did have a student living with us for a while after all the kids left the house and stuff, but she left during the pandemic because they closed down the school. So that was that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of, but
yeah, this is a big thing kicking off now. Is, you know, people going on holidays and shit looking for a place where they can smoke comfortably. Because if you get a hotel, you can't smoke in hotels. Not even cigarettes. You can't smoke at all. You have to go to designated smoking areas, and you want to chill at the end of the day.
Right.
Of walking around somewhere looking at shit, you want to get back. You want to chill and smoke a joint. You know.
Yeah. Exactly.
It was funny when talking to Denny Danko. We were talking about Denver, and he knew exactly the same hotel I did. We go, "Yep, that was the one."
Right, because it was cannabis friendly. You could smoke wherever.
The Warwick had a balcony outside, and the balcony had high enough walls on it to where it wasn't very obvious what you were doing. You could sit out on the balcony and, you know, enjoy. That's where all the stoners went there.
There's one of those hotels in Calgary or somewhere in Alberta, I think. I don't know. I read about it a while ago. It's like a weed hotel or something.
Really?
Something like that. I don't know.
I've seen some things called bud and breakfast before in hotels
so.
that specialize in, you know, just 420 friendly guests.
Not really sure how that works though.
Honestly, I think it's like, as far as if you're a proprietor of some kind of space like that, it makes more sense because when I was away last weekend, there was a hockey tournament going on. Yeah. And so the hotel was filled with a bunch of kids and their parents, and the kids were running around a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. But the parents, they were like getting wasted every night. And they were rowdy and noisy and stuff. And I just don't think you get that with cannabis users. Like, they're usually pretty respectful, and, you know, cannabis just doesn't cause you to turn up your volume like 300%.
Only because we've had to be that way.
Yeah. I guess so, maybe. But, you know, it's just more chill.
Yeah, definitely more chill.
Drinking.
Yeah, you're not fucking crushing beer cans in your head and screaming fireworks at each other and shit, you know, like.
You don't throw fireworks at each other? My goodness, come on.
Not when I'm on weed, man. No, it's called Mary Jane Manor, and It's in Alberta somewhere.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it's a
Yeah.
private cannabis boutique hotel. Yeah.
Cool.
And a lot of it has to be still private, even in Canada now, because they don't have consumption lounges
Private,
yet.
right? There you go.
But
Doesn't make any sense, really.
no.
Honestly, though, like a weed place like that would probably be, like a bar is, you make money with a bar if it's a good bar, but it's fucking hard to run a bar, right? There's like alcohol induces fights and shit like that. And
Mm-hmm.
but with weed, it would probably be a lot easier, like assuming
Well,
you could get through all the red tape, 'Cause, yeah,
That's
people-
what I
just-
think.
I can have a cigar bar where you go in there and, order, buy a nice, big, expensive cigar and sit down and enjoy it in the lounge. Why can't I have that with cannabis?
yeah.
Right. And if
Yeah.
you had the choice, would you rather host a bunch of cannabis users or a bunch of alcohol drinkers?
Well, cannabis users, of course, because,
Right. I mean, we're all biased a little bit, but still.
No, I mean, I just always find that if in a crowd of cannabis users, people are laughing and having more fun, and you don't usually end up with that one guy who wants to fight everybody.
Right. And
Yeah.
if you take a bit too much, you're probably just going to get real
Yeah,
quiet.
that guy just fucking ends up staring at the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
He wants to fight somebody, everybody walks away
Yeah.
from it. He's just, that's it.
Yeah.
Then he passes out. That's over, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have
Yeah.
one more news story that we should quickly get to. It is from the sunny UK, because everywhere is sunny today.
Just freezing
Even though
cold,
it's
right?
not.
And I'll bring this one up because it's just some of the language that gets used in this article. And, I've liked to cover these articles where people have had a stupid amount of cannabis and not gone to prison for it. And this guy has a stupidly small amount of cannabis. I consider a stupidly small amount of cannabis, and is suffering quite harshly for it, I think. But let's go on with this. It says, let me click the right button. There we go. It says Oxfordshire cannabis user spared jail time on birthday. Now that's the title of an article, and there's only one capital letter at the start of the sentence, and not for every word going through it. So you already know take this article with a pinch of salt. Okay. They tried. They put in good effort, right? But from Tom Seaward, crime and court reporter. It must be freelance. A cannabis dealer received the birthday gift of his liberty. Jack Trinder, who turned 27 on the day of his sentencing hearing on Friday, was seen by the police behind the wheel of a car near Whitney on the May 29th, 2020. That's the first thing I wanted to put up. It's like, this happened on Friday, and I checked the dates. It's like on the 17th of December this article went out this year. And look when he was caught. The 29th of May, 2020. This is more than 2 fucking years ago. And he's only just been to court now. That's how crammed the justice system is here in the UK.
And they're wasting time with cannabis.
And they wanted to get this person here because he met with another man, understood to now be convicted drug dealer Leighton Say, who was on foot. Both were arrested by the police officers after the exchange. When officers raided the home he shared with his parents, they found, are you ready for this, everybody? Are you ready for this? 147 grams of cannabis, worth roughly £1,500 stashed in the loft. So it's like, over the last few weeks, we've had the guy who had 27 kilos of hash and the cash counting machines, and then you had that next guy who had like 20 ounces, I don't know, 26 ounces. Just loads of weed, man. Loads of weed, which of course is fine. That's his cannabis. But they can't claim that it's for personal use. And then have a go at a guy like this, 147 grams, and claiming that it is for possession with intent to supply. That's what they call it here in the UK. But the other guys are all personal use. But this guy here with the fucking a couple of fucking ounces is possession with intent to supply. Because it goes on. It says his phone was seized with messages revealing he had been involved in the supply of the Class B drug for between 4 and 5 months. And there's a whole elaborate story coming. Tinder of some place, I won't say his address, why, pleaded guilty to an earlier hearing to possession with intent to supply cannabis. Judge Michael Gledhill, KC, dealing with the case at Oxford Crown Court on Friday morning, was told that Trinder maybe it's Trinder, I don't know, Trinder or Trinder, started selling the drugs after racking up an estimated £2,000 worth of debt to a sinister and powerful offender. That man, this is where it gets crazy, right? That man trapped him in his net by initially offering free cannabis, giving him clothes and the use of a car. For fucking $2,000? What are you on about, man? All of a sudden, the freebies turned out to be anything but, and Trender was offered an ultimatum to either pay it back or start selling his cannabis. He had subsequently been threatened by the sinister dealer. So,
sounds like Trinder was the victim here.
yeah, apparently. This is what they're trying to get at. You know, but the other guy's screwing. Like, what are you on about? What was his name? Trinder? You fucking stitches get snitches, bro. You know what I mean? Snitches get stitches. Snitches end up in ditches. That shit. But yeah, it's scary to be talking like that about somebody else, man. It crosses a line, I think. Anyway, surveying the defendant's 18 previous offences to his name, Judge Gledhill said, "It's got to stop. You have got to grow up." You know, so, what did you just say to me, Judge? What the... how you got involved in drugs, if you're telling the truth to the probation officer who prepared the report, is equally pathetic. Meeting somebody who impressed you because of a fast car and nice clothes. So he's like, well, did this guy rock up? Sorry, Paul.
That's like 90% of Instagram models.
Yeah,
right.
You know, it's like he got impressed by a fast car and nice clothes.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, I have these clothes and have this car, and go and sell some weed for me. Oh man, it just makes no fucking sense. The judge was asked by Trinder's advocate not to send the young dad into prison. He was in work and looking after one of his children. Just one of them. The rest of them, I don't know.
They're on their own.
That's right.
Judge Gledhill imposed 18 months imprisonment, but said he could suspend the sentence for 2 years, bearing in mind the impact it would have on others. So pretty much, he was going to get sent down for 18 months. But because all the prisons are full here in the UK, you know, you have to wait 2.5 years for a simple court case to take place. And then he was going to get put into prison, but there's no room. So they're like, okay, if you don't do anything wrong for 2 years, then we'll forget about it. But, you know, if he does something wrong in the next 2 years, you know, he's on suspended sentence. So they'll arrest him, charge him for that crime. And he will do time for this previous crime as well. So he's not being sent to prison, but he could have for 147 grams, man. When there's that guy a few weeks ago with 26 kilos of hash, with 3 counting machines, a quarter of cocaine, and what is it, $7,000 in cash, all of this shit, and he's just gonna, you carry on. And he had a series of previous convictions as well, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Like, there's no reason why they shouldn't have thrown the book at him, really, based on the evidence. But this guy, this poor guy, looking after his one kid, doesn't know where the other one is.
Yeah.
He's just got like
Just lost.
a quarter pound on him.
Smoking too much cannabis. He's lost one of his
That's
children.
right. I always find it funny too when they talk about these articles, when they talk about drugs, and every time I think about drug dealers, I think like, I don't know, cocaine, meth, heroin, not like, you know, this stuff.
Not a bit of
Not
weed,
your,
bro.
Not your local herbalist, like, you know.
Right, exactly.
It carries on here in the article, but he had harsh words for the man in front of him in the dock, saying he should be setting an example to his child. You're doing the opposite. It's just this language which the judge uses. It's just so demeaning and demoralizing. It's like, what the fuck,
Is the
man?
Judge's dad? Is that a thing?
You know what I'm saying?
Because that's what it sounds like.
Your mother would be so ashamed of you. You know? He also added here, you're doing the opposite. He added, you're now 27. You're not 17. You've got to grow up. As part of the suspended sentence order, he must complete 150 hours of unpaid work and up to 20 rehabilitation activity requirement days. What the fuck? He must pay £500 in costs, and 140 seized from him when he was arrested was forfeit to the police. So there we go. That's what's been going on in the UK here. It's crazy shit, man. Right,
Where's the what happened to the 147 grams? That get
Oh yeah,
taken by
that hasn't even
rats.
been mentioned. Yeah, the rats got
Yeah,
it, bro. Yeah,
The rats have it now.
shipped to India.
Yes, that's right.
Dodgy bastards. But it's just ridiculous because that's legitimately. Well, it was because they've taken his phone and found messages on there, which pretty much told them that he is a dealer.
And a cash counting machine doesn't
Yeah.
indicate the same kind of thing without having to do all the detective work of looking at phone messages.
Well,
I don't know,
obviously
it's-
not much. Obviously not. And the cocaine
So
as well. The 7 grams
right.
of cocaine also means nothing. And the 7
Right.
grand in cash also means nothing. But they'll take
Right.
this guy's £500 fine and £140 seized. It's like, it just doesn't balance out correctly. You know what
No,
I mean?
it really doesn't. They're not interpreting the law in a very
No.
consistent manner, shall
No,
we say.
it takes the fucking piss, man. And, I just want people to be treated fairly. That's all.
It
As
sounds
simple
to
as
me
that.
like Trinder had a shit lawyer.
Yeah,
That's-
probably.
Yeah,
mate.
I think he did, honestly.
It's always important to remember, if the police ever come near you for any reason whatsoever, there's only one thing you have to do. And what is that, everybody?
Shut the fuck
Say
up.
That's
nothing.
exactly it. Exactly.
Tell them
Yeah,
everything and hand
Shut the
everything over.
fuck
no?
up.
Shut the
Say
fuck up.
No,
nothing.
that is
Say
wrong.
nothing.
Bubble Hawk, you're confusing the stoners out there.
Mhm.
Damn it.
Just
That's
run.
why I keep getting in trouble. Yeah, just run.
Just run. Most of us are smokers, and you're going to get a half a mile down the road and be like, God.
Throw a handful of sand at their face and run. That's easy.
Oh my God, don't do that. That's assault. God damn.
I'm gonna
Right.
catch
that-
you though.
It would be salt if it was on the beach, right? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Sound in the face, man. I like that a lot.
yeah, just
Fucking old
if anybody
school
does
shit.
it, please report back if you can from prison. But
Yeah.
Hey, just a second,
Yeah.
cop. Just a second here.
These wieners will give me the
Grab
energy
this
I need to
thing.
escape.
Gotta scratch my ankle here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
uh,
as usual, things in the UK do not make any sense. But we also have just a couple of pieces of news from the forum. We have a seedsman grow off coming off very soon, everybody. So if you're a member over at percysgrowroom.com and you want to take part in the seedsman grow off, there's going to be 3 prizes to be won in this competition. We're going to do diaries. You will have seeds sent out to you for free. With those seeds, you'll have some stickers, some papers, just random merch from seedsman. We're going to grow off the seeds between started mid-January to the start of February is when we'll be germinating the seeds. We'll grow them off, and then whoever runs the best grow diary will win a prize. And there's 3 prizes to be won. There's 250 euros to spend at Seedsman for the winner, the first place. There's 200 euros to be spent over at Seedsman for the second place. That's 200 euros, and the third place gets 150 euros, something like that. That's about right. I think that's correct. But it's all up over on percysgrowroom.com. So if you remember,
Oh,
head over there. What was that, Monkey?
I was going to ask you, how do we enter the competition and what do we have to do?
Just find the thread and comment on it and say I am interested in. And you've got 2 different strains you can choose from as well. It's called the Caddy Cowboy grow off, because it's what are the strains, man? I've got it written down right here. Let me just check my notes.
Runstone Cowboy?
Yep.
Runstoned Cowboy is one of them.
Yep, and which is Critical Mass and Critical Bubbers and Critical Kush Bubbers Gift. That's the Cowboy one. Yeah. The Runtstone Cowboy is Gelato and Zittles. What was the other one? Why did I not write the name down for that? Yeah, it's the Caddy Cowboy or something, right?
Something like
So
that.
it's Cali Critical Mass
Right.
mhm.
and then Runt Stone Cowboy are the 2. So Cali Critical Mass is Critical Kush cross Bubba's Gift.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's what I can see written
And-
down now. It makes sense now you've read it out.
And the Runt Stone Cowboy is the Gelato cross Skittles.
Yes.
Yes.
Both heavy yielders and good amount of THC in there as well. 22% is one of them, I think, and 24 is the other. To find out more information, head over to percysgrowroom.com/forum, and it's in the seedsman section. You'll see the thread. Comment on it, man. If you want to participate, pick which seed you want. You'll get sent 5 seeds from Seedsman, plus the little bits of merch, absolutely free. So
They
get over
send you
there.
the seeds?
Yeah,
They
they're
just
go-
send them to you.
Yeah, they're going to send you the
Huh.
seeds.
Send them for free.
Yes.
Well.
And they'll be sent out in January time, and you'll be able to pop the seeds whenever you feel ready. You pop 2 up to 5. You don't need to germinate them all, and then you just do a
Right.
good diary. You know what I'm saying? Are you stoned
Did-
much, Mackie? No, Savans. What is cannabis, bro? What is cannabis? What is stoned? What do you mean?
Stoned much or
So-
stoned often? What are we referring to here? We can interpret that many ways.
Perpetually stoned.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then sorry, Bubble.
I was just going to say, did you end up hearing back from them about the thing?
No, I
'Cause
haven't
couldn't-
heard back from him yet, mate. I'm just waiting on the email.
Yeah, it just wouldn't let me open, like, start
An account
with
over on
them.
their site, yeah. We'll figure something out, man. We'll get it sorted. But and then we have the end of year roundup episode, and I was thinking we could do that on Friday the 30th. I don't know, we could just do a random stream. If everybody else is around, then feel free to jump in, and we just talk about what interviews we've done throughout the year and what we've enjoyed. You know, which episodes we've enjoyed and shit like that. Just a chill out session. It won't be a main episode that goes out for download, but it'll be for the live stream. So I'll be around, and I don't know about everybody else. What you saying? Is everybody else? Marge,
I
TG,
don't
Bubble,
know.
Monkey.
I'll have
Okay.
to check.
I'm not sure.
And what day is this now?
Friday 30th, 9 p.m.
Uh,
GMT. Usual show time.
Possible. Yeah.
I
Sounds
don't
good
know.
for me.
Is it? We'll figure something out.
It'd be New Year's Eve for us Aussies.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's before New Year's Eve. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, keep an eye out for sessions coming up towards the end of the year, because after this show we're going to take a couple of weeks off. Remember, don't forget, everybody, especially on Sunday. There'll be no show on Sunday next week. So and that's it as well. We just want to say thank you to everybody who's listened to the show throughout the whole fucking year. And you know, like 2.5 years been doing this shit now. So and it's been a
and
whole year
we're gonna-
since the last time we said thank you like this. So thank you, everybody. Sorry, Monkey.
Like I said, we're just going to take Christmas off and spend it with our families.
Yes. And then we'll be back
Yes.
with more
Yeah, so
podcasts.
next Sunday is going to be just 3 hours straight live stream of Christmas music.
Mhm, mhm. Shooting in.
All Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
I was
go,
going to say it's just Mariah Carey on repeat.
go and set yourself a reminder, everybody. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. We all enjoy making the podcast and spending our Sundays here with the people on the panel and the people in the chat. It's always a good time. So thanks to everybody for downloading and listening to the show. We do appreciate it. And
Yeah.
don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. But that's about it, right? For the news, are we done? We done?
I think
we
so.
are.
Right. Let's chill
Good
for
stories.
let's chill for 5 minutes.
All right.
Let me
Is
make
that
sure. About
coffee
the...
time? Is that what that is? Is
That's
that
what
little
it is.
siren goes
Coffee
I
off?
think
time.
so.
Coffee break. All right, I shall.
That's
be
what
back.
that red flashy bell is.
Moi aussi, BRB.
Ah, right, sweet.
Yeah, man. Good show. Good news. It is always interesting news articles coming from the UK, man. Well, there's always loads of shit. Mainly nowadays, it's like big cannabis farm busted. Seen that a lot. Loads of people getting busted. These big farms, anyway, they'll get away with it. It's them smaller guys who has to be arrested and do time for this shit. Craziness. Anybody else? Is everybody else gone? Is it just me? Monkey's
was
there and
sitting
he's just
there-
on mute. Yeah.
I was on mute, sitting there talking to you the whole time. You know how
All
it
right, I'm
goes.
here too.
Ole. Cool. Were you smoking some more hash there, TG?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know. I just found it.
You
It
found
was
it?
in a package. It was in a little silicone container in a little ball, and it's still soft. So I think it might be CBD hash, but I don't know. I'm gonna smoke it and see.
Mhm.
Yes, the American one's just popped in. What's up, bro? Ballista.
Doesn't smell
Hillbilly
nice.
Herb is here. What's up, man? Ryan. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. We're on the little break section there. Dan, what's up, Dan? Waving at you, Dan. Make sure you're rolling something. Building a bowl. Filling up your mighty. Whatever it is you do. Taking a nibble of your 200 milligram edible. Whatever it is. It's time to consume some cannabis. And we'll get back on it in a few minutes. We got the 420 coming up in like 6-7 minutes. So we'll wait until then before we move on to the next section. So, get high with us. Where the fuck is my mighty? There it is.
Yeah, I'm
hate
gonna
this shit.
like smoke this hash right now and prove it. I'll prove I'm getting.
Guys, I need some coffee. I'm stuck here at the PC. I'll message the
You
wife.
need a copy button that you can push and have it delivered.
I kind of have that, but
You do.
it's
Called text the missus.
we do that, and there we
Okay.
go.
All right.
Technology.
Yeah, the one article that I decided not to cover this week was from the Daily Fail, saying that, the one reason that teen cannabis use is on the rise in the UK is because of quote unquote cheap, available medical cannabis. I'm going like UK, cheap, available medical cannabis. What?
Cheap is a relative word.
Yeah, I don't. That's like a fucking universe exploding oxymoron right there.
Exactly, man.
Speak-
But this is the kind of stuff
Cheap
they're putting
and
out there.
available. Okay.
How many
Speaking
people
of
have we talked about that can't get it,
speaking of the universe exploding, shit. Oh my god, that was fast. Thank you very much. Coffee has arrived.
Nice.
That's crazy, right? Thank you.
That's some nice hash. That's some nice hash.
Yeah, my boy said yesterday randomly because we were watching some documentary shit about physics and science and stuff, and he's like, "Wow, reality is confusing." And I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, bro. Do you know about dimensions?" He's like, "What dimension?" Well, you got the first, the second, third, fourth, and it goes all the way up to 11, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's that?" And then I'll put some YouTube video on explaining the different dimensions and how it all works. Complex as fuck, man. But he found it interesting. But it's like the second dimension. The guy was explaining it, and he was saying how the second dimension would live in a 2D flat kind of world, and we'll call them the Flatlanders. And obviously that's TG, the Flatlander. So, oh no way, TG is living in the second dimension.
It is flat as fuck here. I'm not gonna lie.
Is that because of like glaciers way back in the
Yeah.
Ice Age or something?
Yeah. Yeah. At the receding of the glaciers as the ice age kind of waned about 20,000 years ago, it just scraped everything and ended up way the fuck up north. You can actually go, if you go to the North Saskatchewan and look at some of the rocks, like the outcrops of the bedrock there, you can see the scrape marks. They're called striations. Striations, and you can like do the math and figure out which way the glaciers were going and how fast and all this type
No
of
way.
shit.
Probably
Yeah.
under like 5 miles of ice or something.
Yeah, it was deep as fuck. And actually they use that in diamond exploration because the kimberlite pipes that the diamonds are brought to the surface of the earth in were scraped as well because they're ancient volcanoes that popped up around 70 to 100 million years ago, I think. But we're sitting there and then the glaciers ripped them. They weren't really volcanoes, they were just superficial volcanoes. But as the glaciers moved, they drug all of these indicator minerals around. And basically, if you're a diamond exploration guy or girl, you're up there following the fucking trails of these little special rocks. I used to do that for a job, like identify these special rocks and little gemstones. Actually, they are. They're really
Cool.
nice. But
Some interesting
yeah, it's
shit,
really
innit?
cool. Yeah, very cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Glaciers literally fucking kill everything. Don't give a fuck.
There were 5 miles of ice, man. Imagine how much that must weigh. It's fucking crazy.
Right? It's insane to think of just the cliffs, in Graham Hancock's thing, he does those reenactments of the ancient times or whatever, the CGI, and the ice cliffs that were miles high. Just to stare at that would be like, there's nothing like that now. If you're in Antarctica, I guess, and you look at the cliffs of ice there, but that's not miles. So fuck me, it'd be incredible to see. Scary though.
Yeah, for sure. And there used to be like a mile of ice over the top of London. Way back in the day.
Circumpolar, man. It just, yeah. But the humans were squeezed into those temperate zones, and there's all those weird shit in the nice areas that back in the day probably were a lot nicer because there was less water and there was more room for shit. But let's not get into that. That'll take forever.
Yeah. And
That's a good
you reminded
conversation,
me
though.
as well. I've got to fucking message Graham Hancock, and I thought that yesterday, but I was like, I'll do it tomorrow, and then I've forgotten again today. But I've got to message him. He said message him in December, and he'll be able to come and do an interview. And I haven't messaged him.
That'll be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
But I don't think he was expecting to be as popular right now. You know,
Yeah, I wonder.
that that documentary he put out on the most dangerous documentary on Netflix, by the way, everybody. Well,
There's a documentary about with Graham Hancock.
yeah, up on Netflix. Yeah, it's like 6 episodes called Ancient Apocalypse. It is. And it's pretty interesting.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Mhm.
Did you like it
Ah.
as much as his, like, just showing up on Joe Rogan?
Well, no, I prefer just the conversations on Joe Rogan, to be fair, because you can just go
Yeah.
into more detail, and it's not
Right.
as dramatized because it is pretty dramatized. The
Yeah,
Right.
that's the bit that I kind of was like, I hope people don't like don't take it, and maybe don't take it seriously, but like at least totally like dismiss it, I guess, entirely, because it had, like I said before, it was like kind of an Ancient Aliens-y.
yeah.
I hoped it,
Mm.
because yeah, that's like fuck. I don't know, but there's some good points, and it's hard. Like how can you cover like everything you need to cover in 50-minute episodes?
You can't. How many books has that guy written?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And they're all like pretty big books too.
Yeah. Fingerprints of
I
the
don't
gods. Oh, it's 4:20. Is it 4:20 for
Yes.
everybody else? Because you know
I know
how
it
my
is.
fucking clock.
Oh,
works,
yeah.
right?
Your clock is actually right this time.
Oh, no way. Cool. Look at that, everybody.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
It's me being visited by the coast of 420 future.
That's right.
Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna. Hillbilly Her says on that Hancock show, the episode about Serpent Mound was showing where the ice would have been. Mind blowing for sure. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The world has been through a lot, and it will go through a lot more. And like George Carlin said, when it's done with us, it will shake us off like a bad case of the fleas. Mm-hmm.
well, fuck. I mean, we've only been around, like, for like 8,000 years. Like, the Earth is so much older and so much more volatile. We've lived in basically a pause of anything significant happening climactically.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing bad has we've just been like able to fucking not have to deal with decade-long droughts and shit like that. It's never happened. So
Mm-hmm.
people were just like,
Very
"Yeah, it's
lucky."
sweet." But in the grand scheme of the history of the human race, 200,000 years, I mean, we got almost
At
wiped
least,
out
man,
many
at
times,
least.
over the Ice Age was a dangerous time. The Pleistocene, holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We don't
Mm.
know. It's so old and there's nothing left. So just I don't know. You have to have a bit of faith with that. Ooh.
Yeah, the only aliens I'll accept are Predator. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there are any other aliens, I don't care. They can do what they
Well,
want. But
what about
Predators,
what about the alien in Alien versus Predator?
yeah. Well, but I mean, look, by extension, sure.
There you go.
That's fair.
John
That's fair.
Finnegan said, "I must be the only person who hasn't watched the Joe Rogan thingy." Yeah, I don't know if you're aware. Joe Rogan actually has a podcast now. So
That's the thingy. Yeah, that's the thingy.
Spoiler alert.
it's new. I haven't checked it out yet. But if you haven't
Yeah.
listened to it, go check it out. You might like it. He's a bit new to it though. So it's just finding his feet. But yeah, good shit, man. I like listening to the Joe Rogan episodes. He has lots of interesting guests on. I've been listening to the comedians recently. This guy, fucking Theo Von, if anybody knows
Oh,
who
that
he is.
guy's a funny fucker.
Fucking, he is hilarious,
Yeah.
man.
Mhm.
He talks about some funny shit. Just watching what he was talking about his maths teacher earlier. He's like, I swear there's like 50 guys in my school who just didn't know maths because of this teacher. You just get your shit wrong
Oh,
so
yeah.
she could stand next to your desk so you could smell her while she was. He's talking about it. He was getting a boner and he couldn't walk up to the front of the class. He had to roll.
Yeah, I saw
Guy's
one. He
funny.
was talking about going out, and they were showing like pictures of him when he was younger, and he was like dressed up as like a Native American or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What's going on here?" And he's like, "Oh, I was just out in the bush getting high with a shaman. I spent like 9 months in the bush with these guys, just doing doing the shaman thing,
Yeah,
getting
man.
high."
Theo is funny as fuck. Funny as fuck. Yeah, and I watched a real good. I mean, it's a bit dark, but there's a channel out there called Soft White Underbelly as well. I don't know if anybody's checked out that channel. But there was a real good fucking interview I listened to on it yesterday. But maybe we'll talk about that in the after party. But yeah, check out that channel as well if you haven't checked out that channel, everybody. Soft White Underbelly. Oh, gosh. Gosh.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
What's that sound? God damn.
Cat
Is
dog.
that a child or something?
Yeah, so we'll wait for Bubble Hut to get back and then we'll jump in on that Grow Guides thing. But yeah, Soft White Underbelly is a good channel, man. I like that channel.
Never heard of it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, they got the have this like inbred family on there sometimes called the Whitaker family. Have you heard of these?
No, I'm not up on my inbred families.
Yeah, it's a real weird one, man. But Bubble Huck, that dog barking in the background reminded me because one of the guys, they have some issues because they are legitimately inbred. It's like their uncle's twin brothers. So it was like their uncle and their dad, they were twin brothers, and then the cousins had babies together, and that's what created this Whitaker family. So they all got problems, and one of the guys just like keeps barking in the background like a dog, so arf, 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 all the time, and that reminded me. But yeah, it's a good channel, man. Check it out, everybody.
Sorry about that. Just had
you good?
Yeah, just a couple of drop bears having a fight.
You sedate them,
Sort of
you know
Is
what
that
I mean?
what they sound like?
sedated. That's it. Yeah, actually, if you've not heard a drop bear at night, it's one of the weirdest sounds. They kind of grunt and growl. Not really too many barks.
That's
but
not what
it's
we
kind of the
heard,
way-
bro. We heard a child.
Yeah, that was not not here, man. It ain't my child.
It was the ghosts.
That's right.
Jeff Papilla says, I heard of the Royals. Yeah, they're pretty fucking inbred as well, man. That's another channel out there, Famous Faces or something, and he does like timelines of people's heritage, and he does one specifically about Queen Elizabeth's heritage, man. And the whole royal family are just like so inbred. It's crazy. They're like every fourth cousin or something. They knew the right amount to minimize the chances of any major problems.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's real fucked up shit, man. Yeah.
Huh.
But anyway, yeah, so that's
On
enough
that note.
random stuff, We like to go on these tangents in the middle of the show sometimes, get a little bit high. It's 420 is gone, and we chat some shit. But check that out, man. Soft White Underbelly and the Whitaker family. Check out those channels. Real cool shit. And if you don't know who Theo Von is as well, the comedian, go and check that guy out as well because he's real fucking funny. But that's it for now. We'll go on to the Grow Guides. Is everybody ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, and that one more before we move on. There is an epic shorts out there. The YouTube shorts. You search for Arnie deepfake Dr. Evil. It's fucking hilarious, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Grow Guides, let's do it. So it's Christmas time, nearly. You've got 2 days. When this episode goes out, it's only going to be 2 days until Christmas is here.
Man.
And you're going to be visiting family and visiting friends and shit. And not all of them are going to be cannabis consumers. And they probably will not be as much of a cannabis enthusiast as you are. Because you listen to this show, which means you're pretty much an enthusiast. So we're going to try and explain ways which you can be polite and respectful with your cannabis use so you don't get in anybody's way or piss anybody off unintentionally, because not everybody is as accepting as others when it comes to the cannabis use. They'll start calling you a devil druggie and a degenerate and shit, and then you're going to have to get the fists out and start throwing them around and be like, what you fucking say to me? You don't want to do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't, yeah.
No.
Just so we're clear, don't do that. You are an advocate for the cannabis plant.
That's right. Be
Right.
good, man. Show people how, and then they might be more inclined to be like, oh, he's a really cool, laid-back guy. Maybe we should, or girl, maybe we should try some of this cannabis so we can be laid-back, cool people like they are. That's what you
Oh,
want to try
man.
and do.
You don't know my family.
Yeah, it gets complicated with family sometimes.
It does, really big time. Depending, especially in prohibition lands,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Man.
But this is it, man. Not everybody's into that shit, and I've heard stories before. An old friend used to tell me a story where he lived in South Africa at the time, and one particular Christmas party he had the in-laws round, and he made some gravy, and he put some cannabis in this gravy, and they were dead set against cannabis, but they had some of this cannabis gravy without knowing it had cannabis in it, and enjoyed it very much. But still, that's rule number one, man. Don't be spiking anybody with the weed.
Yeah, that's a risky move.
Yeah, you
Dosing
shouldn't.
anybody without their permission is a
That's
big
right, man.
move, man.
And even then, because you don't want to spike them, so they're unaware that they've had cannabis. But even when they're just occasional smokers, and you say you're outside smoking some of that gorgeous lemon tree, you know what I'm saying, Savants? And then somebody comes out and be like, "Oh, I smoke sometimes. Can I have some of that with you?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, cool," because you don't mind sharing, because you're a stoner, But make sure you tell them this is really strong shit, and you should be very careful with it. Don't be just chonging it away. Just a couple of drags, pass it back, And then if you're not mash up, then you can have a couple more drags. When people have cannabis, you want them to have a nice experience with that cannabis, so they'll be more inclined to do it again in the future. So just bear that in mind when you go and share a joint or a blunt or a bowl or something with somebody who doesn't smoke very often.
That's a fact there, because I have shared a joint before with someone who was a newbie. And unfortunately, the only thing I had with me at the time was this LSD that I'm smoking today. And I think it was 3 hits deep. This guy was so zoned out. It was completely.
And then you're babysitting.
Well, I mean, it was a bad experience. It took him years before he decided to even try it again.
It sounds like a bubble hot gummy.
He kept saying the same thing. It's like, you grow this in your garage? Like, what the hell, No, but it's a bad move. Don't do that,
Yeah. So, man, just bear that in mind when you go to share with somebody. And it's always, and we always say this, man, and this is something we should do say often. You'd never spike anybody or give them cannabis without their knowledge. They need to know that they're taking this shit. Don't fuck them over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So don't spike any of the Christmas food, and you go to Margie's website and look out for anything that you can make for Christmas dinner that could be edible or infused with some cannabis. And
That's right.
Yeah. But
I actually just made some delicious fudge, a recipe that was provided by, I believe, Savant.
Nice.
And yeah, that's a nice way to do it. Give someone a little piece of fudge, let them know what's in it.
And Marge always has great advice as well. It's like, make 2 versions, one with the cannabis in it and one without. So you can just take a few nibbles and be like, that's some good shit. I'll eat the stuff that doesn't have the weed in now, so I don't end up like bubble hawk on a Saturday
I was
morning.
gonna say that's clearly where I went wrong.
You don't want all your dinner guests drooling at the table because,
Imagine
that dessert.
You made this shit so fucking strong, everybody's asleep halfway through the turkey. You'd be like, oh, it wasn't me, it was the tryptophan, honestly.
When we bring edibles to a party, I always like to decorate the edibles so that it's very obvious that it's got cannabis in it, like taking brownies and taking a stencil and just using powdered sugar and stenciling a cannabis leaf on top or something like that, or putting 420 on something, just anything, so that somebody does not come up by accident and grab something.
Skull and crossbones, man, they'll stay away from it.
That'll work. Anything, but mark it. By all means, mark it.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but a sly smile and a wink does not constitute telling people that it's got weed in it. Just so we're all aware.
Good point.
Yeah, it's got to be a little more obvious than that. Like,
I mean, stoners may pick that up, but yeah, use your words like a big person.
And then the whole smoking thing, there's lots of people who don't smoke cannabis, and smoking cannabis in a house, that smell lingers for a long time. That's why you have those specific Airbnbs for people who use cannabis, because the smell of cannabis will linger for ages after it's been smoked in a house. And some people might not want you to smoke weed in their house, man. And that's something that has to be taken into consideration as well, So go outside and smoke out there. Give yourself 5 minutes after you've smoked that shit for the smell to evaporate. Unless you're in Canada, because you'd be dead if you did that. Just fucking say, fuck you, I'm smoking in here. But what do you guys do? So, Marge, I mean, do you visit friends sometimes where they don't allow smoking in the house?
I don't smoke in my house.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't smoke joints in my house. I use my dry herb vaporizer in my house all the time, but I don't usually smoke joints indoors because the smell does linger so much. And I live with people who don't smoke at all, like my spouse and my mother-in-law are not cannabis users really. So
Mhm.
yeah, out of respect. So yeah, smoke outside. And if you know it's going to be fucking cold, just bring a toque. You'll survive.
Mhm. What are you saying, TG? Because do you smoke in your house?
I am right now. I shouldn't be.
Right.
I'm
He's gonna
trying
get
to
in trouble.
fucking. Oh yeah. Well. Oh fuck. I already did. She came back from groceries and she's like, "It fucking smells in here."
Right.
And I'm like, "No, it
That's
doesn't.
the
You
only
can't smell
problem with
anything."
smoking weed. It's like
I can't
it
smell
does
it.
have that smell. Yeah,
Mhm.
you can't. That's
Just
because
yeah, that's a good etiquette. Make sure everybody else is smoking, and then no one will complain about the smell because everybody will be nose blind. Perfect.
Good answer. Good
Perfect.
answer.
right.
Yes.
No, I would like. I don't know. I'm a really bad person to ask because I don't give a fuck. I just smoke. You know, like I don't smoke in my house, but I don't like.
What
I
about when
make
you
a
visit
point.
your parents? What do you do then?
Well, smoke. You know, they smoke cigarettes. So I don't smoke
Right,
inside the house. I could. It's more about like Cheryl's asthma, right? That's why I don't smoke in the house. And plus, again, it does linger, and I don't want my shit to smell like weed all the time. But no, like the garage. That's the classic Canadian thing. Probably
Mm-hmm.
American, you know. Just go into the garage for, fucking
Just
whatever.
gonna go check the tire
Safety,
pressure.
taking a break, or yeah, just
Right.
going
Yeah.
for a walk with the cousins, or whatever,
Mhm.
that kind of shit. But yeah, we go to the garage. I have heaters in my garage. My dad at home has like his garage is heated with a gas furnace and shit. So
Nice.
generally we just go to a place where you can smoke more freely because it is fucking cold
Mhm.
outside.
Mm-hmm.
When I worked up north, it was like fucking 35 and shit. And I remember I was out there and my hand like was so fucked, like just dry and like just cranked, craggled.
I got
Nasty.
Yeah, I know what
frostbite in
that's
your
like.
toes and shit. Fuck,
Yeah.
man.
You know, I don't
And-
understand cigarette smokers that like do that. And then you're just like,
yeah, it's like 20
oh,
times a
fuck.
day.
You
Yeah,
know, like,
for those of you listening too, when he says 35, he's talking about 35 below 0 Celsius.
yeah, yeah. It
Fuck.
just is
Cold
Cold
fucked.
as
But
fuck.
you kind of get acclimatized to it at that point. I
Man,
was at
even
least.
your
It was
fucking
still very
smoke's
cold.
freezing at that temperature. You know?
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
it
man.
was.
That's
That
where
was-
clouds come
Eyelashes are
from.
freezing. Yeah.
Some of the coolest smoke I ever saw was when I was driving back from the drills, like 3 a.m, and it was like 35 below, right? But I'd stop in the middle of the fucking tundra, basically. Yeah, the basket base. There's nobody around probably for 500 miles. Like nobody, like no communities or anything. There's drill camps and shit. But it's the eeriest thing. But it's so still up there, and it's so cold that when you smoke, it's like this stratus of clouds that just sits there. You can go inhale it again almost if you want it. So
Damn.
cool. So cool. But anyway, sorry,
It's
that's
so
a-
cold, not even the air wants to move.
No, it's true. It's fucked.
What about you, Monkey? What do you do when you visit people who well, you have to stay pretty hidden because you're in an illegal state as well, right?
Absolutely. And so what I usually do is I rely on edibles. I'll dose before I go, and then I'll bring small bottles of oil, like 5 mils of oil with me, and just, excuse myself. And if I need it, that's what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
But, I actually have very, very little friends that I can openly consume with, because all of them have friends that don't. So it's always a mixed crowd, one of those things. So in a mixed crowd, you're better off just not making waves, kind of slide out the back real quietly and do what you have to do. Now in big crowds, bigger parties where there's a lot of stuff going on there, it's always, man, you know what I'm talking about. It's always easy enough to find the smokers. You just kind of watch the people who are lingering around the outside edges. And usually if you slip out, somebody's right behind you. So in the larger gatherings, it's usually easy enough to find somebody. And in that kind of case, you slip back into the woods behind a house or behind a garage or something like that, because it's not freezing here. But that's usually what I do. But mostly I rely on edibles. That's what we'll do.
Nice. What about you, Bob? What's your score?
Balls to the wall, bro.
You don't
Of
care,
course
does
it
he?
is. It's rose
So-
rosin all day, every day.
I'm that type of guy that everybody knows I smoke anyway, so it's no point in hiding it. And I usually get someone will come out and be like, "Oh, can I have a hit of that?" But I'll usually do it outside. Like if it's at someone else's house, it'll be outside. If it's in my house, I've got my own room set up with the press. Dr. Dabber, the volcano, bongs, pipes, whatever else.
Neon
jars of
paintings
weed
on the
everywhere.
wall, you know.
Yeah, LEDs flashing around, So I've
Well,
got my own. I've got
yeah.
my own little nook that I'll smoke in. But yeah, if I'm going to someone else's house, I'll take my stuff with me, and I just find a spot that's away from the kids and away from the people that don't like it.
So the
And
thing is,
then I get high. And,
yeah, when you go out to smoke, after like a few minutes, I mean, even after like 5 minutes, when you come back in, you're still stinking of weed.
Oh fuck
Mhm.
yeah!
You know.
oh
but-
yeah, well
but
that's it. Yeah.
that's where the vape comes in real handy.
right.
Because
That's what I was thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we have company here that's not all into cannabis, the volcano usually gets put in the master suite, and we'll just kind of excuse ourselves and go enjoy a bag, and nobody even knows the difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good.
See,
option, man.
I use that as like a roll call. So and you walk back in, and that's how you find the others. It's like scenting for deer.
Right. How big are your
They
Christmas
just-
gatherings? Holy
You know,
shit!
you see the ones, yeah.
That's like 5 people.
No,
I
well,
always
yeah.
give it the
Some of
old
them get
like,
pretty big, yeah.
that sound. Every stoner knows that sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's a
the
grinder.
grinder.
The suppression was the suppression was stopping it then, TJ.
Yeah, I know
Oh.
the sound you mean, the ting ting ting
Yeah,
ting
yeah,
as
ting,
you're trying
ting.
as you're emptying
Everybody-
about, yeah.
Everybody that whips their head and starts sniffing is
Man,
like,
even you get
guys.
fucking a cigarette, we call them Rizzlers here, but smoking papers, man. When you get your papers and just rustle them together, people will be like, there is still going. I hear Rizzler being rolled,
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, it was the sound of the baggie being unrolled. That's just the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
you bought a weed was always in a baggie of some
Can
kind.
always
so
be
you
like
could
this
hear it coming
too.
out of a pocket.
So if you are going out to a
Like
family
the
gathering and
bubbles.
they don't know that you smoke at all, then
Oh.
you really can't fucking smoke because you're gonna come back in and you might you spray out and spray yourself and you're just gonna smell like weed plus whatever you've sprayed on
Yeah.
yourself.
Right.
Totally.
It's always the way.
Yeah, it doesn't work, man. So vaping is a good option. I mean, if you're using a dry herb vape, then that's still gonna smell like
Vaping
you
sucks.
still
Yeah,
smell
the
a little
vape
bit like
pens are
cannabis,
really good.
but not so much. But if you're using one of those cards, with the oils in and shit like that, mixed with the propylene glycol or the vegetable glycerin, those kind of vapes, then you're not gonna smell so much when you use
Use
that
these
shit.
vapes. These are just as pure cannabis.
Yeah,
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
live
Is
resin.
it ganja wise?
Yeah. I
I've been
mean,
contemplating buying some more, but fuck, I've got so
they
much
have fucking
weed.
shirts now.
I
Oh.
know, but they're so convenient too, and they're great. They are great if you're going somewhere and you don't want anybody to know what you're up to.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
These things
what
look
do you have
like
to go
those,
outside?
you know, they look like fucking anything.
Yeah,
See, I'm
yeah.
doing my nicotine. I love nicotine.
Nicotine's my
Right.
favorite.
You just
Oh,
gotta
it's
go
okay if
hang
you want
out.
to kill yourself and get cancer, but if you smoke weed, fuck you.
You just-
Like, I hate that.
You're
And we
right.
don't get that
Yeah,
much here,
I know.
but whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's the frustrating thing.
vapes-
But when
vapes are
you
good.
when you
Good
come
one.
across those people who smoke cigarettes and they'll go outside for a cigarette and
Yeah.
then stand there and look at you smoking a joint and they'll be like, "Oh, degenerate."
I don't like the smell of that thing, man.
You
Like,
know.
Right.
oh, you
Have
don't.
you smelled your ashtray lately?
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Don't like the smell of your fucking breath, mate. Fuck off. Like,
Hey, speaking of, did you guys hear? This is a little off topic, but did they not ban cigarettes in New Zealand to people
Yeah.
born after
Yes, yes.
2008 or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
mhm.
anyone
thought-
born after a certain date, banned.
Right.
Grandfathered in, but after a certain date, you're done.
You know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen? You know what's gonna happen? Anybody want to make a
Black
prediction?
market.
There we go. The same thing that happens with everything else to be a legacy market. There's gonna
There
definitely
will
Be
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 surprised. There already
a
is.
legacy
like-
market,
mhm,
but I don't know if it has the same appeal as, say, things that actually get you high
mhm,
versus
definitely.
a thing
No,
that
it
just
won't.
gives you cancer.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But it would just
It's a
make
little
it more
different.
cool, wouldn't it?
It
People be
might.
smoking because it's cool. It's like when cannabis has been legalized, people have teen use has dropped. They've seen that happen in all these different places, but it's not so rebellious anymore. And that's what teenagers want to do. They want to rebel. So
But so many kids are more into vaping now anyway.
Mhm.
Like a lot of kids aren't smoking cigarettes.
Are they gonna do
Mm.
anything about that, or they just want people to move towards vaping rather than combustion for their nicotine content?
I bet you the
No.
nicotine or the fucking tobacco companies making even more because
Mm,
you probably you can dilute that shit, and these kids don't know what cigarettes are, especially
Yeah.
strong cigarettes. So they're like, yeah, I love this. Look at the cloud. It's
Mm.
fucking
There's
awesome.
a there's a ginormous education push in the U.S. right now to get kids to stop nicotine vapes
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they
Right.
can be just as dangerous. But so right now, yeah, they were telling everybody use them before. Now they're telling everybody stop using them.
You don't need the nicotine, everybody. What you need is the THC, the Delta
Right.
9 THC. Get that
Right.
shit down you. You'll be fine. You don't need the rest. But,
Cannabis.
but cannabis, the devil's lettuce.
I prefer jazz cabbage. Thank you very much.
Ah, nice,
Jazz
nice. Yeah, mate. But some people don't like the smell of it, so you have to be taking that into consideration when you're around their houses. If you do go out for a smoke, don't just stand in the back garden and do it, because you're just going to bring the smoke back in. Go for a walk, man, and give it 10 minutes before you come back in after finishing your joint. Or you can take some edibles. You can go to March's website and listen to her podcast and find out loads of different edibles. There's definitely one that you're going to hear and be like, oh, that's my shit. I can put weed in that. So then you make your you make your edibles.
It's true.
Yeah. Make your edibles and
Well-
take that with you instead. And it might be a pain in the ass because you can't smoke and you want to actually smoke sometimes. But it would definitely be useful in between joints. You were smoking less if you take some edibles. What you say, Monkey? Sorry?
I was going to say what I learned from Marge's website is that you can put weed in just about anything.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's very true. You really
So
can.
yeah, depends what you feel like eating that day. Yeah, you can
Mhm.
definitely find something for the occasion.
And you just got to time it right, and then you can be fucked up for your entire family gathering. So it's
Yes.
perfect.
Mm.
Depending on how you feel about
once.
your family, you know.
Timing.
Timing is everything.
Timing
with
is
edibles.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can either be happy or you can be completely fucked up. Take your pick.
Right.
Or both.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
both,
right.
Yeah.
You can eat one of Bubble Hawk's gummies and yeah, don't worry about it.
That's
God
right. I
damn.
would
Yeah.
be drooling at the table if that was me. But
I love them. They're so good. I
Mhm.
I just stopped myself having one before when I grabbed my coffee. It's every time I go to the fridge, I'm like, oh yeah. I just stop myself.
So, what about with the edibles? Do you think you should take some cannabis edibles round for like the Christmas table? You know, everybody sits around a table and eats food and shit, and be like, "I bought these special sprouts." Should you do that, or would you recommend that, Marge? Not necessarily sprouts, but you know, something.
you mean like a dish for everybody?
But yeah, so people can partake if they wanted to.
No, I wouldn't recommend that.
No,
Honestly,
Fuck them up too much.
It's just tolerances vary so widely, and most people, if you're
Mhm.
going to some kind of Christmas gathering, if they don't know what their personal tolerance is, somebody's going to get so fucked up, and then they're going to be like, I've seen it happen. Just and a lot of the times at these things, people are also consuming alcohol.
Yeah.
Also
The
affects all that
piggybacks.
stuff. And
Yep.
somebody could have a tolerance of 5 milligrams, and then someone could be like Bubble Hawk with 100 milligrams, and then everything in between. So how do you know like
yeah.
what to make that Christmas pudding or whatever the fuck you're
Mhm,
making?
mhm.
Yeah, and I
You
can
know,
see if
just-
somebody's a lightweight with alcohol and never consumed cannabis before. Now we got double trouble.
Right. Yeah.
So, ooh, too many variables.
Mhm.
There are a ton of variables. You're way better off bringing something that's like bite-sized so that you can make it really low dose, and then people can either eat one, or I guess in Bubble Hawk's case, it might be eating 20, but as long as you have enough. And that
Mm.
way they can kind of choose their own adventure sort of thing.
Mm.
Yeah. That would be what I would
Yeah.
recommend anyway. Or something that you can like add a sauce, an infused sauce, or have infused butters that you can put on it, or that kind of thing. So people can dose themselves based on their own comfort level. And if they don't know their comfort level, well, you know what to do. Just advise them to be careful,
Mhm.
because this shit is powerful.
Yeah, because that's something I wanted to bring up in this as well. It's like some people are just curious, but they don't have access to cannabis, especially in places where it's illegal, like here in the UK. Some people just don't have contact for it, but they want to try some, so they might come outside, or if you're sitting at the table, you're allowed to smoke indoors and shit, and they might come up to you and be like, "Yeah, gonna take a hit of that shit." And this is where you have to like say yes. Of course, you want to
Mhm.
share, but you have to be very careful with these newbies, especially if you're smoking proper weed, like your own homegrown, because you know that shit is the shit. And they're not going to be ready for that, man. You have to make sure that they understand that they are not like Bubble Hawk. You can't just chong off this whole fucking joint and be like, think I'll have another. It doesn't work like that, you know. just a couple of drags, let them settle, and usually that's plenty for somebody who doesn't smoke cannabis often. Just a couple of draws, man. Let them get a
I would
little
say
bit hit
even
off it.
one draw, like just one puff, and then like give it like 2 minutes because it still takes a minute or
Man,
two.
I would
And
even
then
say
they'll
10
know.
minutes, you know, because
Yeah.
Right.
sometimes different people,
Yeah.
you never know. Better safe than sorry. 10 minutes is a small price.
Yeah, and that might be like, oh, that's nothing until it's something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
most
it's-
most newbies are going to find that one hit will do plenty for them if they just give it the time.
Well, and I feel like too, a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't like to smoke weed because it makes me paranoid, and I've been that person before. I realize it's just I was taking too much, like I was just consuming too much.
Yeah.
And if you have like, that one puff and you wait the 10 minutes, like Monkey said, then they can kind of settle and figure it out, and then they don't get that paranoia.
Yeah, imagine
because
that,
they're not overdosing.
they're popping around for Christmas and just eating a big juicy Christmas dinner. They just have just a little toke on one of these fine lemon tree spliffs for dessert. And they're gonna be asleep for the rest of the day.
And maybe that's what you want. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
But it's better that than, them being that hyper kind of stoned. You know when people do that and they giggle at everything and shit. Like, come on, man, I'm trying to chill. You shut the
I
fuck
don't
up.
know.
Well, you
I
wouldn't-
kind
you
of
wouldn't like
enjoy a
Christmas at
first-time
my house.
smoker. Yeah, I kind of enjoy a first-time smoker giggling and having fun with it, though.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
makes me happy.
too.
Yeah,
It's kind of fun. It is.
that's
kind
a
of
good
fun.
experience. They'll do it again if that happens.
Yeah, that's it. And that's
Right.
what you want them to have. You want them to have a good experience because then you have a good experience. If they like start being sick and all that shit, you're liable for that. You really have to look after that person until they're feeling better. And if that does happen, then some sugary drink like orange juice, some kind of fruit juice, that will have them feeling better pretty quickly. But it's your job to babysit the person. If you gave it to them and they they smoke a little bit too much, it's on you, man. Fix it.
Well,
Sometimes too, I think this is where the vape pens, like the carts and stuff, really do come in handy for people who are curious, because there's not that compulsion to smoke more, like when it's a joint, because when the joint's lit and it's being passed around, I don't know, I just feel like you should smoke more, but you can easily just take that one puff with a vape pen and then wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
always a good idea.
Yeah.
Wait and see.
That's it.
Yeah,
Take it slowly,
Yeah.
man. Don't be getting all crazy.
that's right.
Now, something that you may not have considered, and it's holiday season, and everybody likes to take your photographs and have some fun with cameras and things like that. But a lot of times, if you got a new person who's trying cannabis for the first time, and if something goes a little funny and people are snapping pictures, it can really be a bad situation. So I'm going to encourage people, when people get high, kind of lay back off the camera a little bit. Let people have fun and don't embarrass them so much with the photographs.
Get that camera out of my face.
Exactly. This is a chill time. Enjoy
That's
it
right.
a little bit. Nobody wants to be sitting there and be haunted by their first time they ever got high for the rest of their life.
Yeah, remember it forever, because they're that one bloke in the back that's white as all hell,
Yeah.
sweating.
Well, it's
So-
like that experience is gonna decide for them whether they do cannabis again. If they have a nice experience on it, then they might try it again in the future. But if there's loads of people who have smoked weed for the first time, like March had smoked far too much, got paranoid, anxious, and some people have even been sick, and they don't go near the shit again after that. It's like, oh, I tried it, but it's not for me. It doesn't work for
Right.
me, and it's like you just fucking took it wrong. You didn't have the right guidance. So if you're gonna give somebody who doesn't usually smoke cannabis in any way, then you just look after them, man. Be their guide, be their shaman through their cannabis experience.
Start
It's like
low,
everything.
Go slow.
Yeah, it's like the same thing with alcohol. It's like if it's the first time drinking alcohol, you don't go out and down a bottle of Jack Daniels, do you?
Oh, let's go
Some
do
people
tequila
do,
shots.
actually.
You're
Yeah,
a new
well,
drinker.
some
Let's
do,
go
yeah.
drink tequila shots.
What you being a
man.
lightweight
It'll
for,
get
man? Shit.
That's right. Chase that shot with a beer. Come on, do it.
But something else we should cover as well. I mean, because we mentioned briefly about the smell of cannabis when you're smoking it, but just the smell of cannabis on its own, without even being smoked and shit, that's strong, man. And you could be sitting at the table around your whole fucking family, stinking the room out of blue cheese. I've been there, done it. So
I love the smell, man. Come to my house.
but that's it. We love the smell. I mean, we get that fucking fine, pungent smell of dog shit weed, and you're like, that's my shit. And people are like, is it actually your shit?
Literally.
Because it does smell like shit.
Mhm.
You have to be careful, man. Not everybody likes that. So make sure you got a good airtight container. You can't just wrap it in cling film or put it in a little pouch or something. It doesn't work. That doesn't keep the smell down. You really have to have a good airtight container. to keep
There
the smell
is
locked up.
actually, I was going to mention this. There is a new product out on the market. It's not cheap though, but it's called Billow, and it's by the woman who invented the Ardent. If any of you are familiar with the Ardent decarboxylator, so she invented this device where you like put the joint inside this box and then you smoke it, and it totally contains the smell, which I thought was kind of interesting. Although it's
Sick.
pretty expensive, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But it's just kind of interesting that you know, because some people really don't like the smell, which I think is insane, but you know.
Just depends on the weed, doesn't it?
Or you can just go all out and stop all questions. Just attach a couple to your shirt like a brooch, just a couple of nugs.
I think earrings would do really well for you. You know,
Yeah.
a cooler from each ear, you're good. They get the message.
Just bring a plant along with you. I brought my own Christmas tree.
Hang it from the doorways there in the arch. You know, kiss under the cola.
Just a couple of autos hanging from the front door like a wreath.
That's it, man. That's now we're doing Stoner Christmas. This
Yeah,
is
that's
another
good
Canna
etiquette right
episode.
there. Welcome, everybody. But yeah, you know, and that's it as well. When people come to visit you, if you're hosting the party, just be considerate of the guests. Maybe they won't like it. I know it's nice, it's your house, and you should be able to do what the fuck you like. But you just have to try and be courteous to the people visiting. So, smoke outside if necessary. And if you don't want the smoke to go everywhere, because people's neighbours as well, you know, if you're in the UK, you don't want your neighbours smelling, because it's in all the fucking newspapers. Like, if you smell cannabis, then call the police, and we'll be around in a few weeks to do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, so but TG, what's that device you have where you blow smoke into that?
Oh, this thing?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Oh,
That's my smoke buddy. Doesn't really work that well, but
Oh.
that's what I've heard about those, that they work okay, but they're not great.
I think it would, but it's really hard to get a perfect seal around your mouth when you're exhaling. Plus, you know, like to contain, you know, I was just smoking hash, so my strategy is to just get the hash light lit and then just slowly inhale all the smoke, and then all of it goes through here, but it never works, even if I don't get any residual smoke off of here, because I think it comes through the corners of your mouth, and probably the carbon in here gets fucked up pretty quickly.
But it's the mainstream as well, isn't it? Like the smoke that comes from the stuff you're burning that doesn't go through the pipe, that just goes up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, these do work, kind of. I wouldn't say rely on them entirely if you need to be completely stealthy, but they will help, you know.
They got a
mitigate a
reduction, but
little bit.
not an elimination here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know one
Especially
thing we
trying
used
to
to do
cough
when
through
we
it.
used to host the parties back in the day, it was always known that there was cannabis going to be there, but we always did it in a room that was not the main room, out of the way. And if you wanted to smoke, you went to the smoking room. And that way, if people came and they didn't want to partake, they knew not to go to that room.
Yeah.
It's probably the best thing, I think. Yeah, unless you're inviting fucking narcs over.
Yeah.
I hope your family and friends aren't narcs, you know, but so like
Yeah.
you don't have to be that fucking stealthy, but more just like you don't want to inconvenience people. Just like I said, my girlfriend Cheryl has asthma. I don't smoke in the house at all. Even just the, you know, I joked before, I can't really smell weed right now because I was smoking hash, but there is, even with all my carbon filters, like I grow lots of weed. I have fucking weed everywhere here. It smells like weed in here. And so it is hard to mask. It's a very strong smell in a place where weed isn't. When you bring weed there, it fucking stinks it up. So yeah, just, you know, try and be fucking not like fuck you, man, or something like that, because like that generally doesn't go over well.
Right.
And it's just like, yeah, be polite and but
Don't
still,
be obnoxious.
you know, people have to compromise too. So, you know, just don't go in that room if you don't like weed.
Yeah.
And the difference is, you know, if we throw a party and it's well known that it is a cannabis party, now the rules change because it's everywhere. Because you know,
Especially-
when you walk in the door, you already know what you're coming to.
Fucking rights, man. If I'm hosting a party, for example, and you're like, I don't like the smell of weed, it's like, well, fuck you. I don't know, like basically, I don't fuck you, but like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
I don't like the smell of fucking diesel, but we don't ban diesel cars, you know?
Right.
So just
Yeah.
don't come, I guess. It sucks. And I guess if you don't like the smell of weed, though, I probably don't like you anyway. So
I was just gonna say, TG, there's no way you'd know anybody that would ever say that. So
Yeah, I don't like the sound of your voice. So how about you fuck off?
no.
right.
Yeah, be polite, but you know, if they start it, then fucking fuck that shit. Tell them to fuck off.
Well, there has to be a line drawn, right? Especially in
Mm.
Canada now. Like you have to expect fucking, especially like Marge said, booze is always there. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, fuck yeah, I got 224 of Coors. Here's my fucking 40 of fucking Wiser. Sorry, I got cookie in my mouth. But like, booze is like fucking so much booze, you know? And
Yeah,
people are
yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
You've got
that's
the whole kitchen
perfectly
counter is
fine.
covered with booze people bring.
Right.
You know, it's laid
People go
everywhere.
to the LBS to get more booze because they're out of booze, you know? But then weed is just like, wow, you smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah, I bring a small paper bag with an ounce of weed in it, and people go, "Wow, all that weed, dude, that's 28 grams. That's nothing."
Yeah, you know.
That's what I.
Better gone before lunch. Like,
Right, but yeah, I mean, compromise I think is important, and people need to, yeah, depending on where you are. But here, it's like, yeah, come to my house, motherfucker. Come on.
Yeah, you know what you're gonna get here.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna smell of weed. If you don't like it, then
Probably.
just don't come around.
Yeah, probably we're gonna go straight down to my fucking grow room, and I'm gonna be like, look at this, look at these things, holy
Oh,
shit.
shit.
That's what
I'm
we do
coming to
as
spend
growers.
Christmas at TG's.
Look at these
You know,
guys.
it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have a joint right now. Would you mind stepping outside?
yeah.
And they can go stand outside in the cold, and then when you finish, you can just wave them back in, like, it's good and done now. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
if you have a place, I would say like that's at my auntie's house. That's what we were the last year. It was fucking hilarious actually because I thought that was the place where you just smoked, but it was really cold. I didn't want to open the windows, so I just thought that was a smoking place. But apparently, you didn't need to open all the windows, and it was just like the place that was kind of okay for smoking. And my uncle came in, and I smoked like 3 joints sitting out there, fucking whatever, and you really couldn't see anything. It was so fucking smoky in that room. And he was like, "Holy fuck, she's blue in here." And he was not impressed at all because yeah, the rest of the house obviously did stink, and because it wasn't the smoking room, it was just the room you smoked in, right? So yeah, other people's houses maybe, but you know, be cognizant of shit. Ask if it's
John
okay for you
Finnegan
to
said
ask.
here, so according to Mackie, get everyone fucked so they have to go outside for fresh air and you can chill on the couch and enjoy a spliff. Nice, Mackie. I don't know how I said that in any way, but if that's what you heard, John, that's cool, man. Roll with it. That's good for you. Do it.
What about the old bathroom, man? I got a bathroom downstairs with the fan on it. I do that
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I think
pretty cool.
every stoner has a little room in their house or a spot, a dedicated smoking spot.
Yeah,
You just got to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I have an ashtray in there, and like, you know, I used to wonder as a little kid why people kept ashtrays in their bathroom. Like, oh, that's probably.
Now you know.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
is there anything else here to add about etiquette? You know, I would just like to say again, just be polite. You know, be a good representation of the cannabis community. So people, when they think of cannabis users or stoners, then they think of you and how much of a good example you set. How chilled you are, how relaxed you are, and shit like that. They're trying to. I know I joke about. Fuck you then, motherfucker. But really, just try and be as polite and respectful as possible. But don't let anybody take the piss out of you as well. You know, use your own judgment.
Use this as a reminder to clean your glassware.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Don't bring
that's
out the
etiquette
embarrassing
for
bong.
sure. Yeah, don't give them like this. Oh, this is actually pretty nice right now, but I used to have some soy sauce in this motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Somebody
Yeah.
brings one of those things out. Hey, you want a hit? Oh,
What's
yeah.
that? Did you
yeah.
put cola in that?
What the hell is
Yeah, that's not etiquette. Do not give them a dirty bong, especially if it's like
Yeah.
first time smoker and you're just like, ah,
Oh,
you know,
gross.
that's good
Mhm.
weed in there. Oh, I have some terrible memories of bongs that have never been fucking cleaned. And
Ugh.
No, I've actually
That's
got
gross.
spare volcano
Buddy's
bags
crazy.
around that I give people clean volcano bags if they come and visit.
ugh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
just
I mean,
like,
it's polite, you know. It's one of those things.
Mm.
yeah.
So, what anything for you to add here, Monkey? Before we,
Not really, not really. Just, you know, it's just being a good representative of the cannabis community is all we're saying. You know, be responsible, have fun with it, though.
Yeah.
You know.
what are you saying, Bubble?
Yeah, I pretty much the same line. Pardon me. It's essentially just pick your spot, be respectful of other people, clean your glassware, and always bring a bud to the party. Because if there's another smoker there, you don't want to be the only one with the weed, vice versa.
Mhm.
Always take a little bud just in case.
Yeah. And
'Cause
that's
you
a
never
good point
know.
as well, because people in Australia and the UK would usually put tobacco with their joints. And if they are cigarette smokers anyway, they're going to want to use their own brand of tobacco, which they prefer. So that you can give them a bud then, and they can, well,
Yeah.
you can make a joint for them maybe if they can't do it, or they might be able to build their own. They'll prefer it with their own tobacco in it. Sorry, TJ.
I don't know if it was said, but again, like just like with dosing, if you put tobacco in your joints and you give me a joint, tell me there's fucking tobacco in it so I can decline politely. 'Cause I really don't smoke that joint.
Oh God. Oh, that's
I
disgusting.
agree.
Yeah.
That's
Not a
that's a
joint.
good point.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
See,
that
like
it's important, but it's kind of nice to even know what's in the strain that's in that joint when you hand it to me. I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of like that.
What about you,
Yeah.
Marge?
Like-
What would you like to add?
I think everyone's kind of touched on everything. The only thing that was popping into my mind maybe is that if you are dealing with somebody who is curious about trying cannabis for the first time or they're very occasional smokers, be really cognizant of how much alcohol they've already had to drink. Because again, I've seen some pretty messy situations where, because the alcohol
Like
amplifies the
literally
cannabis.
messy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It can be very unpleasant. And sometimes like that cannabis will make the effects of the alcohol even stronger. And if they're, had quite a bit to drink already, that's really going to affect the results. Yes.
About
Yeah.
you, TG? Anything to finish up on there?
No, I think that's all good. Like be cognizant of who you're going to visit and who's coming to visit,
And the old
Um,
golden rule of don't be a dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I would, and I'd also add, if you're a grower like myself and you have the capacity to, like Bubble Hawk said, bring a bud. I like bringing bags now. Like,
Bring a jar. Damn.
Yeah.
people like we all know how inexpensive. That's why we do this show. Really, is like we need people to get growing because it's various reasons why money is a big one, right? It's a stupid expensive. So when you bring a fucking bag, 2 bags even, of like some nice homegrown shit, and you're just like, yeah, grab it. People are like, are you sure? Are you fucking serious? Kind of thing. Even here still, because it's like this would cost so much for me to buy, but for
Right.
you, and it's again, people really really appreciate it, because and as a grower too, I love when people love my weed. I'm very humble about it, in almost like I don't give it out because I'm worried people don't like it, but everybody always does like it because like it's good weed. Not the best, I'm sure, but it's pretty good. So I always love sharing, but and yeah, if you have the capacity to share, I guess is my point.
People love free weed because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
done
Yeah.
that. I did that at my daughter's staff party a couple months ago. I just brought a couple jars of weed, and I don't
How crazy is that?
propose-
My mom's gonna bring some weed round for us,
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, I always
Yeah.
do. But like you
I'm
just
rolling
leave it
some up.
there. Yeah, I brought
work.
papers and stuff too, and a grinder and everything, so they had everything that they needed. But it's kind of fun to do,
Nice.
and I like doing it. And then they compliment my weed, even though I'm pretty sure I grow like pretty average weed. But
Show Enough has a question here in the chat. He said, is it proper etiquette to attempt to convince religious family members that Jesus used oil in his miracles, cannabis oil in his miracles? So I wouldn't even try and avoid topics like that. You really don't need to get into those.
I answered that question in the chat, and I said 100% it is.
Oh, right, okay.
As
Well,
someone
I
who grew
mean-
up in a religious household, I'd say, yeah, stir the shit.
You
Why
know,
not?
Jesus was a stoner as well.
That's
Jesus
right.
was a degenerate like me. Huh?
That anointing oil, we all know what it really was.
Yeah, I've heard Steve Reisner talk about going into churches in Oklahoma trying to convince them to vote for legalization back in the day. And he used to bring in CBD cream and give it to the elderly in the crowd and say, hey, try this. 10 minutes later, ask them how their hands were, things like that. But he would actually just tell them point blank, God's put
I'm
this plant on
healed,
earth for us
Jesus.
to
It's a
use."
miracle.
Well, it's like this plant was put here on this earth by God for us to use. Point blank. That's what he did. So hey, go for
It's a
that.
good argument
It's
if you're
true.
a fucking Bible fundamentalist.
Just time and a
Right.
place, man. Do you really want to be spending Christmas Day having debates about religion on baby Jesus' very own birthday?
No, because I've already dosed on edibles before I got to
I
the
was gonna-
party, and
yeah.
I'm just having fun. Oh, yes, it is, man.
I was gonna say if I'm high, I'm all for it. Like, you know.
You know,
Right.
I'm atheist as fuck, man. If somebody's having that conversation, I happily just sit there and watch them backwards and forwards like fucking tennis match.
Where's the popcorn?
Yeah,
Fun.
but you know, realistically, there's no point even starting it because you're not going to change anybody's mind. Maybe the people listening to the discussion, but you're not going to convince anybody of cannabis being a good thing if they think otherwise. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, some people have had it drummed into their head that long. It's just what they believe, and you
Mhm.
can't change it. So
No, it usually takes a significant emotional event to change those people's minds. Like if someone they know has had pain and this was the answer, that's what
Yeah.
it takes.
And isn't like frankincense or myrrh some kind of herb that people smoke? Is it myrrh?
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know.
frankincense was the
Incense or something, but they burn to
Yeah,
cover up
right.
the dead body smell.
yes, for embalming and whatnot, funerals. I guess I don't know what the other one was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a religious expert.
There's gold, frankincense, and myrrh. If you're talking about the three wise men.
I know what gold is.
Yeah.
No, what is that?
Oh, really? You don't know what that is?
No, what was that? Is that
No,
that
this-
metal that's like the same color of piss? That's that one?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's
If you
the
have any
stuff
of
they're.
that nasty piss color metal, just send it my way. I'll take care
Oh,
of it.
right,
for you.
yeah, cool. I've been looking for a place to get rid of this.
No problem.
Yeah, we also have one question here in the listener mail in the show notes here from Beaker Bongs, who put it up over on the forum. And Bubble Hawk, you might be able to say something about this because you know about PGRs. He asks, could you explain what PGRs are? How to recognize buds that's being grown with them when compared to bud that has been grown using PK boosters? Maybe some examples of products to steer away from and others that actually help. You got any input on that, Bubble Hawk?
So PGRs generally refer to plant growth regulators. So these occur both naturally and there are some synthetic ones. Ideally, you want to try and steer clear of them as much as you can in your growing efforts. However, seaweed is a PGR. So anything that's like a seaweed, like your root boosters and things like that can be PGR. They're completely fine to use. It's more, I think there's about 3 of them from memory. I did have 3 of them written down because I did see that one. I'll see how I go with this. Paclobutrazole or PBZ, diminazide, and chlormequat chloride. They're the ones you kind of want to steer clear of. They're the most commonly used here.
I hear dihydrogen monoxide is a bad one as well, right?
Yeah, it's yeah. We will steer clear of that. So I try and steer clear of all of them. You know, if you're growing it yourself, you know, chances are, unless you're going for things like bud candy and all of those extras that promise big fat buds and quicker growth and things like that, generally your main lines are going to be pretty okay. But if you're looking to tell the difference between a PGR bud and a standard bud, the biggest thing you'll find is lack of trichomes. You'll have more sort of those brownish red hairs. They tend to be just covered in it. Lack of smell, and it'll be a more dull color. So you tend to have more of the browns through it than any of the greens. It's not as vibrant as a homegrown clean nugget. So that's the easiest way. But yeah, the lack of smell is a big thing. If you open that bag and it smells like hay, you know, and they're smaller, dense nuggets like little rocks covered in brown hairs, chances are that's been grown with a PGR. So you want to try and avoid that if you can.
The swag. You don't want the swag.
You don't want the
Or
swag.
whatever.
That's right. But that's all to do with what the PGRs do to the bud in its growth stages. So yeah, it makes them a little bit more solid and it will grow quicker depending on what you're using, but the quality suffers. And then because they're usually in such high concentrations, it never flushes out of the product itself. and then you end up ingesting that when you smoke it or vape it. And you can generally tell if you're getting a really racy high with headaches and coughing a lot, like, you know what your normal smoke is going to taste like, and you get a bit of a cough with any weed if you hit it hard enough. But with a PGR, it's generally, almost like it's been sprayed with fly spray, I think is the easiest way to put that. If you can imagine something being sprayed with fly spray and then you smoke it and you get that headache, that
Can't imagine that. It would be horrible.
it's not nice. It's not a nice thing. Easiest way to avoid it's grow your own.
Yeah, grow your own, man. Grow your own.
Mhm.
Grow your own, man. Grow your own.
Yeah,
Do it.
that's it.
Boy.
Well, so keep it simple, grow your own.
Yeah. And we recommend that for everybody. You know, if you have the ability to, some people don't have the ability to, and that's just unfortunate. But if you have the, like, you've got all arms and legs working properly and shit, then you really do have the ability to do it somehow. If you're disabled and you haven't, you're not active enough to do that kind of thing, then that's going to stop you, obviously. But if you're like physically able to grow a plant, then you should do it. You should find a way and get it done. That's the best cannabis and the safest cannabis you're going to get, even if you're in legalized areas. Do your own shit, man. It's going to be the best. And you have plenty of it as well, which is always important. Like TG said, you got enough to share around everybody. You can take jars and bags everywhere with you, which is always fun.
I've personally thrown shit out that people have brought around. And just, because they bring it around, they're like, check this out. Oh, that's just shit. They throw it in the bin, and then I just give them some of mine. And I mean, look, I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't throw it in the bin, but if I'm looking at it and it looks in any way, shape, or form like it's been grown with a PGR, I'm not going to let my friends smoke that shit.
Yeah.
So I'll just chuck it in the bin and give you some of mine. I don't care. You know, at the end of the day, I got plenty because I grow my own. So
nothing. So yes,
yeah, exactly. A couple of buds to you means nothing, but it means everything to that person's health.
Nice. And the last question there is from John Finning. He says, "You want to adopt me, Marge?" I already asked, bro.
No,
so
I don't.
no,
I already,
no.
all my kids are out of the house. I don't have to worry about them anymore. I do not want to take on any more
Mhm.
responsibility.
And you
That's all there
sound
is
like
to
a
it.
lot of responsibility, John. You seem like high maintenance, mate. No offense.
That's right.
So yeah, there we go. That's it for the grow guides today. We're gonna have another 420 in just a few minutes, so we'll go to the outro, and then smoke up. You know what I'm saying? Let's do the outro. Professional fade on the outro there, outro, not intro. Yeah, so good show, everybody. Good show.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So this
Covered
is
a lot.
so this is the last show we're gonna have before Christmas. I mean, we might jump on and do a stream. I might jump on and do a stream on Christmas Day just to say hello to everybody. That would be a cool thing to do. If anybody else is around, of course, you're always free to come and jump in on the live stream as well. But at some point at Christmas, I will do a live stream to say Happy Christmas to everybody who listens to the show. So make sure you got your notification bell rang. I don't know what time it will be because, I'm going to be a bit mashed up myself probably. I might get myself some Jack Daniels and shit. And it might be
Look
on
out.
the evening. It might be early. I don't know when it's going to be, but it'll be on Christmas Day. So.
Look out for a Mackie rant. Oh man.
These
So you're
motherfucking free ghosts come visit me over the last couple of days, man.
So Mackie's either going to do a live stream on Christmas Day or be on the evening news, either of the two.
Yes.
One way or the other, we'll find Mackie on Christmas.
Either
Day.
way.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I'll be around. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, just want to say thank you again to everybody and the panel as well. You guys who can be here every week to just come and chat some shit and keep this show running, man. It wouldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you for coming and doing the show every week and spending the time doing this shit. It's massively appreciated.
Massive fun, man. Lots of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, it
good
is.
fun. It is good fun. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this shit. Yeah.
Correct.
And you guys out there in the chat make it fun as well. The interaction which we have with you guys throughout the show. It's not just us, the panel. It's you guys in the chat here as well. And you interact with the show. You're just as much part of it as we are. It's just we have the microphones. That's all. And when it goes out and downloaded and everybody downloads the show, you guys are still left in there with your questions and the things you say in the chat. So you are part of the show as well. So we appreciate all that shit to come along and spend your weekends with us, while your Sundays, getting high and just chatting some shit. It's good fun.
Hanging out.
And many more to come next year. We need more people to interview. So if you have any ideas or suggestions of people you want us to interview throughout 2023, then let us know. I'll try and get Graham Hancock. We want to try and get Putin on, see what's going on with him.
Is Vladimir returning your calls now, finally?
We're a couple of emails back from him. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
He said he's busy with something right now. I don't know what it is. He's busy.
Something about an exchange or a war. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, said something about being busy with Patriot missiles.
I thought he was talking about his Patreon. Oh.
Right. That makes much more sense now.
Right.
Yeah, I better leave him alone for a bit. Did you hear about he fell down the stairs and shit himself recently? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Funny. Anyway, yeah, well, obviously I won't be getting in touch with Putin. But any suggestions and things like that? We saw show enough offer a suggestion there. Did you interview the ladies whose children had Huntington's disease? No, I haven't. I don't know of them, mate. So sort me out and we'll get that interview lined up, man. We can get that done. But yes, there won't be a show on next week's on Sunday next week. There won't be a show, and the week after Christmas there won't be any episodes either for download. We're gonna have a week off with no editing for a change. So it's gonna be a nice relaxing week. Probably I'll just fill that fucking time with some other work that I always do. So that's just the way it goes, man. So yeah, we'll take a week off and I'll just spend it doing something else. God damn. But yeah, it's Christmas, so obviously gonna watch Die Hard. And my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah, right.
Mackie, man. It's this time of the year when it comes. Look, I believe Die Hard is a Christmas movie. However, I did see a thing this morning where Bruce Willis came out on a roast and said it was definitely not.
I sent that to Monkey,
Exactly.
right?
I know.
No, but I
Yeah.
sent that to
Man
Monkey,
himself.
and I sent it to Chad Westport as well, our good friend Chad. And he sent me a message back. He's like, yeah, whatever, man, that's deep fake. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He could be fucking right. It's just a fucking deep fake video. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I'm still sticking with it being a Christmas movie.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I don't care. Bruce Willis don't know shit. He was a fucking actor in it, man. I want to speak to the director. I want to speak to the writer. What have they got to say? That's what I'm saying. Oh, motherfuckers. Anyway, it's like saying Saving Private Ryan isn't a war movie. It's a movie about tanks. So fuck off.
I had to mute my mic. I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah, man. So it's been a good show, everybody, as usual. And I hope everybody has a good Christmas. Yeah, and of course, this might be a difficult time for some people. Some people have trouble throughout these holiday seasons. And you've always got somebody to talk to over at Percy'sGrowroom.com. And we'll be able to fire up the Zoom room or the Discord room or anything like that. So if you need anybody to speak to at any time, you know the whole community is there for you, man. Don't be afraid to use it. You know, you are not on your own ever. Make sure you come and say hi over at Percy's and we'll fire up some rooms and you can talk anytime. We're always here. Anything else to add here at the end of the year? No, that's right.
Not really.
Yeah, just let's cross our fingers and touch wood and hope. Again, we can hope that 2023 will be a better year because in 2020 it was all like, God damn, the 2020's got to be better than 2019 was, right? And then come to the end of that, it's like 2021. Surely it's got to be the shit after that fucking shitty year we just had in 2020, and then it kind of wasn't. And then end of 21, everyone's there like 22's gonna be a good year, you know. They said that 21 is gonna be a good year. Yeah, know that tune? Anybody know that tune? Anybody? Let us know in the chat. No,
I think 2023 could go either way at this point.
I think
on a knife's edge, isn't it?
right. 2023 is going to get weird, I think.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
It's Aliens next. Aliens
I don't
next.
know. I don't know. It's all this chat GPT shit that I keep reading about and all this. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. But
No, what's that?
the AI chat box at
Oh yeah, the
use?
new thing. Yeah.
oh yeah, I've been playing around with it. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think shit's gonna get real weird real fast.
Let's see what
But
happens, man.
we guess we'll wait and see.
Backblast said, "What, Mackie? No member of the year? Yes, that will come over on Percy's at the end of the year. We ain't there yet, bro. It's only the 18th. You got 12 days left. I'm saying. So yeah, stay tuned over at Percy's to find out what's going on there. But yeah, man. Thanks to everybody for joining us every week. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and make sure you have a nice Christmas.
Yes, happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy holidays indeed. Yeah, it's not just Christmas, it's Hanukkah and other seasons as well. It's that whole winter solstice thing.
Right.
That's what people are celebrating. These goddamn pagans and their festivals.
Yeah, kind of like the sound of that. Yeah, I think I'm going to be pagan this year.
But it's
Happy
called
solstice.
Saturnalia originally, right?
Yeah.
It's Saturnalia, Winterfest. I think that was the original name of Christmas.
Yeah.
But however it is you celebrate this kind of thing, make sure you fucking enjoy it, man. Have a good time and try not to let the troubles of the last year hold you down and piss you off. Just, be happy for a few days and then we can get back to being moody bastards after then. And I'll be right there with you. You know what I'm saying, everybody? You know what I'm saying? Just a couple of days of smiley face. And then,
That's all we can stand, yeah.
That's right. That's all you can do.
That's about all I can take.
Just do your
Couple
best.
of days.
Do your best.
We always smile and laugh in here on Sunday, man.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We're all happy.
Everybody's happy. So have a good one, everybody. And we'll catch you on the next one in a couple of weeks' time. So stay high and stay safe. Goodbye,
That's
everybody.
right.
Happy
Bye.
Christmas.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Grammys.
Happy holidays.
Later, people.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
Smoke
Be
weed.
naughty, not nice.
lots of time.